Waiting for it to go live before I start that stream. There it is. Alright, now I can start. Hey everybody, welcome back. We're gonna be, oh god, what are we gonna do today? Why are you starting so early? Because I want to go for a nap later. Maybe I like naps, okay? And Tuesday I napped until 8, so I kind of missed my stream. I'm very sorry about that. Hello! Oh, we actually have people right away. I haven't even started yet. Yes, run. But yes, we are going to do Satch Bag. Satch. He's Satch in the game, but he's Satch Bag. That's his username. Asagao, please start. I don't have any more. I don't have any more material to work with. Alright. Fuck that movie.
Asagao Academy. Normal Boots Club.
Ah. So today is Satch Bag, and next, you're next. You're next after Satch Bag. Oh fuck, we need to skip. It's too loud for me. Alright, see, I actually had a good save this time, because it's only like minutes, like seconds before. So, we're gonna pick Satch. Think I'll ask Satch. Oh, so you like the mature type. Protecting, strong, silent. My. Well, go on! Go on and get your man! Wait, you mean now?
Yeah!
Mai hit me on the back and practically shoved me towards the door. As I began to leave, my legs turning to jelly, small pink blobs filled my vision. What? Go! Mai was tossing cherry bottoms. I can't get over this scene. Go get somebody to notice you. That will always make me laugh.
Yeah.
No time to talk, Hannah. This is gonna be your big day. You're a main character. Unless you mess up real badly, you'll definitely get the good answer. I've messed up a lot, though. Just go! With a final shove, I was at the door. Now, where could I find him? The library? Excuse me. Whoa! She looks like a cunt. I'm lowering the volume. Is Satch here? That good-for-nothing boy? No, he definitely is not. What'd she just call? I'm sure he's off somewhere trying to find the books he lost. A pang hit my stomach. Was this related to the book I didn't turn in on time? Thank you. You find him, tell him not to return unless he has the books. Yes, ma'am. What a cunt. Was he okay? But if he wasn't in the library, perhaps he...
Hey.
Yes?
Hana.
What brings you here? Are you alright? I checked in the library, but... Oh. He stepped back and held the door open wider. Would you like to come in? Satch's room wasn't what I expected it to be. I thought there would be a lot of books, but there were also a lot of rows and rows of manga and comic books and action figures. Various nerdy paraphernalia? Fuck. The shelves are exceedingly neat, and they looked as if they'd been dusted recently. Almost everything seemed to be in order, but there was a sort of messy quality to it, as several piles of paper, I can't speak today, and other knickknacks pushed out of the reach would imply. On the top of that, a strange humming came from the closet. I'm sorry if she was mean to you. Who? Oh, right. A few library books haven't been turned in on time, and she thinks they're missing. And since they went missing on my shift, she's holding me responsible. On your... Horror struck me. Is my book one of them? Shat smiled sheepishly. Oh no, I'm sorry, Satch!
No.
It's not a problem. It's not just you, anyway. I've done with it now. If I gave it back to you, will you be able to go back to work? You don't need to worry about me, Hana. This happens every now and then. Although, getting the books back would be helpful. Thank you. I'm so sorry. No, it's not your fault. She's being unreasonable. But... what were you looking for me for? Oh, right. How was I supposed to ask him at the flower festival now? I was going to ask. I looked wildly around the room for some sort of help. If you wanted, Drink? Drink with you? Yeah? Not alcoholic or anything, but we could just go together. I would be delighted. Maybe we could attend the flower festival together tomorrow and grab a drink there? I beamed up at him and he chuckled. Something about the way he adjusted his glasses made me think he knew why I was here in the first place.
See you later.
Great! I'll see you tomorrow. I'm working in the morning, so I'll pick you up around 6. Thank you, Satch.
Hana.
No, Hana. Thank you. I woke up late the next morning on the day of the flower festival. I was buzzing with anticipation, but because it took me forever to wake up, and it was almost noon. I should get some water later. I rubbed my eyes as I arose.
Hana.
Hey there, sleepyhead. Good morning. You slept even later than I did. Okay, I think this is the scene where Hana gets a letter from her father. Yep.
I don't know.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, game. I came out of the girls' dorm early, intending to wait for Satch, but to my surprise...
What's up?
Hey, Hana, you're finished early? Satch was waiting on the front step, carrying a cherry blossom in his hand.
Hello.
Oh, shouldn't I be saying that for you? It's rude to keep a lady waiting, isn't it? He laughed, but I could see his face change color slightly. He seemed more something that Jared would say than something Satch would say. He wouldn't have gone and asked Jared for help on this, would he? They were roommates. I got this for you. It reminded me of you, so... He held out flowers to me. Oh, thank you! I grabbed it, somewhat unsure what to do with it. Maybe I should put it in my hair? I reached up to the back of my head, but I couldn't quite feel where my bow was tied, so I couldn't figure out where to put it. Would you like me to help you? My heart skipped a beat.
Yeah.
Sure! He took the flower from my hands and reached around my head, fixing the flower to my bow. I stared at the zipper on his jacket, trying not to think how close our faces were, or I'm stuttering as much as Hannah would. Or how if I just looked up. There! It looks beautiful. Thank you. That was really sweet. Should we check out the bonfire first? Sure, let's go. A giant bonfire burned in a field, short walk away from the festival. Not many people were there. Most people were keen on getting food and drinks before meeting up here, as the dance would be held as the final event of the night. Satch pulled his hoodie close around himself despite the heat. It's really weird to see you out of uniform. I could say the same for you. But I really like it, so I won't. I smoothed the front of my yatata, face aflame. It's strange to see you in such casual clothes, though. What do you think I would wear? To be honest, I had this image that you'd be in a professor's suit, smoking a pipe.
What?
Oh, hello, you two. Miss Shiz appeared out of nowhere and stepped between us, slithing her arms around our necks. Her eyes darted from me and Satch and her. Out having fun, are we? She was not in a good mood. No! Not really, not at all! Don't lie to me. She stumbled from out between us, walking almost into the fire. I reached out to grab her, but instead she whirled around, pointing right at us. Was she drunk? You think your young love is so great? Well, it's not. It's... She yawned and then looked at us. What was I saying? It's nice out tonight. She flung a hand out and grasped my shoulder. Fuck it, Megan. I need to tell you something, but it's a secret. Don't tell anyone. She leaned to my ear and I could smell the alcohol in her breath. Definitely drunk. You're my favorite students. She pulled away and looked deep into my eyes. Thank you. Stop being a love. Look, fruit baskets. She wobbled away from us, heading straight for the stalls. She didn't look too good. Should we go after her? It wouldn't hurt to keep an eye on her. We followed her to the festival stalls, where she entered the thickest part of the crowd. Miss Shiz! We tried hard to politely push our way through, but the flow of the crowd was against us, and Miss Shiz vanished from our sight. Oh no. Now what are we going to do?
Hey.
Hey, look. Satch pulled me to a quiet part of the road and pointed at a small child. The kid was standing next to a tank of goldfish, imitating their movements. He's so cute! Satch nodded. After a few seconds, the kid began to look sad. Do you think we should... Satch? Satch wasn't next to me anymore. I glanced back at the kid, and there was Satch kneeling next to him. He stood and held 3 fingers out at the man behind the goldfish tank. The man gave Satch 3 paper-thin paddles, and Satch kneeled down beside the boy, coaching the child through catching a goldfish. The first paddle broke almost immediately as the boy thrust it in the water. The second time, he listened more closely to Satch and lured a fish onto the paddle and lifted, but the paddle broke. On the last paddle, the fish came more quickly, and the boy lifted it out of the water with ease. The man behind the stall bagged the goldfish and handed it to the little boy. Satch made motions that suggest don't shake the bag. The boy hugged Satch around the middle and then carefully was off. Within seconds, he disappeared into the crowd. Sorry about that.
Satch.
That was really nice of you. Oh, I've always wanted the same thing. Plus, it'll be good for him to learn how to take care of something. Kids knew a lot about fish. Maybe he'll grow up to be a marine biologist or something. You're really sweet.
Really?
I am. I'll take your word for it. My turn. I dashed to the side of the tank, and the old man running it laughed as I traded my money for the paper paddles. Guess I'll have to help you too. Why don't you go for that little guy? He's so cute. Are you sure he'll want to come with me though?
Yeah.
Of course, I'm sure. Anyone would be lucky to go home with you. I didn't mean it that way. It came out. Anyways, I guess I'll have to. I dipped my paddle in the cool water, watching the bubbles form around my skin. And I'll just wait for him to swim over to me. Ah, the fish came into my paddle, but when I lifted it up, it broke around him. No. You kept it underwater for too long. That will soften the paper and make it easier for it to break. Then how am I supposed to get it out? Give it another shot. Your technique is fine, but as long as you attract the fish, all will be well. Attract the fish. I closed my eyes and harnessed my energy. Attracting the fish. I will take good care of him. I'll feed him and love him and hide him from anything that would try to harm him. Fishy, 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 please sense my love. I'm sending it to you. I dipped my hand into the water, sending out all the waves of good will I can muster. Now gently pull up. I did it as Satch suggested, and I felt a slight weight on the paper as I pulled. Suddenly, I heard the sound of splashing.
Yay!
My fish! I hurriedly tipped the wand over the bowl and set the fish sliding in. A little black goldfish swam around his side, cheerfully bumping against the sides. I did it! We did it! You did it. No, we did it. I resisted the urge to bounce up and down after I handed the bowl to the man at the booth. The Satch gave the stink eye. I'm guessing he won't be allowed another round. It's all good. What are you gonna name him? You should name him. I wouldn't have been able to catch him without your help. Let's name him Oscar.
What?
Why Oscar? I've always had a fondness for that name.
Yeah.
Oscar it is. The old man handed me a bag with a little pouch containing a small amount of fish food. I clutched both to my chest. I'll take good care of him, and we can go to the pet store and find him a bowl. And, oh, I'll need to borrow a book about the goldfish from the library. I didn't peg you for an animal lover. I turned to him, tears prickling my eyes.
Well,
I was never allowed to have a pet, but it's all I've ever wanted.
What?
Satch rubbed my arm, grinning against me. I'm glad I could help your dream come true.
Hey.
But now that we got Oscar, we gotta take care of ourselves, too. Come on. Let's go try that teriyaki. As we approached the teriyaki line, we saw 2 familiar people. Hey, isn't that...
Sup?
Hey, guys. Fancy meeting you 2 at the teriyaki booth. It is the most delicious thing on the face of the planet, so... They're almost out of batter, too, so we just came in time. Why don't you wait with us? Wallet smiled warmly at us, but Caddy paled.
Yeah.
That's real nice of you. We love to. So how's the tournament prep going? I'm actually really happy with... Fine! Caddy stepped forward, darting look at Wallet, made him shut up. We shouldn't be talking with them about this. Right. Smart. Caddy pulled Wallet towards him and whispered something in his ear. After a second, Wallet's eyes went wide.
What?
You what? Please be quiet. I guess that makes sense, but...
Well...
They're our friends. It would matter if we... Patty fiercely whispered in Wally's ear again. Oh, that's smart? That's super smart. Please don't blab about this. Me? My lips are completely sealed. When have I ever blabbed about something private? Aren't you the person who keeps tweeting your game score codes? Point taken. So I think you both understand what we mean by we should probably get going. Nothing personal, just tactics and all that. Yeah, tactics.
Okay.
Is that how you're gonna play? That's fine, because we got a secret weapon this year. Is it Hannah? We all know about Hannah. Oh. This is exactly why you gotta keep things under wraps. Anyways, we'll be seeing you guys soon.
Bye.
Let's have burgers sometime. I can't do a British accent right now. Cuddy pulled Waller off into the night, and then we ordered our takoyaki. Red bean paste is the best. No, it is not. I hate it. What? Apple cinnamon all the way. It's like portable apple pie. Damn fucking straight, Satch. Hanging with Satch was nice. It was fun. It was easy. It was all above else relaxing. It was warm, funny, supremely kind-hearted. Sometimes it was difficult to follow what he was saying, especially when he got into more theoretical tangent. Layers of human identity. How is one to dissect all the specific point in the tragedy of a single issue to overall scope the point of insect narration? He was always engaging, always passionate. Can't talk. But I always wanted more and more time with him, but I should probably head back. I'm worried about Oscar. It's a little early, but I know I'm going to miss the final dance, but I think the water temperature hasn't been stable, so I'm afraid... Satch nodded. You're right, Oscar's life is more important than both of ours. We must make sacrifices for the ones we love, after all. Thank you so much for understanding. No problem, I'll walk you back. We were quiet as we headed through the campus. Satch was in deep thought, and I felt worse and worse for leaving him before the festival was officially over. I'm so sorry I'm leaving so early.
What?
Huh? Don't be! And he went back to thoughtful silence. I wasn't sure what to do. It didn't seem like he was mad at me, so maybe it was better not to interrupt him? We finally made it back to the front of the dorm, and Satch smiled. I wanted to show you something after the festival, but I think it's better that we put it off for a bit. If I wait, then I can put more work into it, and then...
Copacetic.
Well, you'll see. I'm really pumped for it now. I'm gonna get work on it. Thank you so much for attending the festival with me. No problem, anytime. I'd love to. Stupid. What a stupid thing to say. I'm really glad I got to spend with you. You're very... Well, then I should go. He raised his arms slightly and hesitated, dancing between one foot and the other. Finally, he leaned down and hugged me.
Be good.
Well, I'll see you tomorrow.
See you later.
Yeah, definitely. Bye. I'm not sure who fled faster, him or me. When I got back to the dorm room, Mai wasn't around. Carefully, I set Oscar down and went about getting him up, settled in. Oscar, your daddy's a wonderful man. Did you know that? Oscar opened and closed his mouth. Don't give me that sass. In the distance, drums started to beat, signaling the beginning of the end of the festival dance. I got something better than a dance. I got Oscar. I smiled and set Oscar's bag in the makeshift bowl, giving him the water temperature a chance to equalize. A new pet, a new romance, if I was lucky enough. What a great night. When I went to lunch the next day after the festival, the Normal Boots Club wasn't at their table. That's strange. It's fine, just let her grab our own table today. They probably had a secret club meeting or something. Together we moved to an empty table in the back of the cafeteria. Sitting there, eating my mushy pea and miso soup, a memory suddenly flashed in my mind. Satch is a daddy. he's Hannah's daddy. Oh, Mai, don't you remember eating here before? Yeah, back in the very beginning of school year, before Paul got ice cream all over me and we joined the Normal Boots table. She set her chopsticks down and stroked her chin thoughtfully.
Real.
Now that you mention it, yeah, you're right. Wow, things have totally changed since then. Yeah, I used to not have any friends and I was so scared. You might not have known this, but it was the same way for me back then.
Really?
I was never really popular, as you might say. But the girls here, they found me pretty annoying. Most of my friends, I never really got close to. But look at us now. Not only are we best friends,
Yeah.
but we also got even a larger group of friends. Yeah.
Hana.
Thanks, Hannah. What? If it wasn't for you getting ice cream smushed all over you, I'd still be in the same boat as I was last year. You're welcome. A burst of chatter brought our attention to the front of the cafeteria. Oh, there they are. Normal Boots men were strolling through the roof. Mai and I started to gather our things, attending the join them at the usual table, but they walked right past it and continued on to ours. Looks like they'll be joining us here. We moved over to a dozen or so seats to make room for them, but when they reached our table, they stood around it. No one said a word. Aren't you going to sit? PBG shifted uncomfortably. There's something we need to talk to you about. You took them, didn't you? Wait, what? Pardon? The boots. You took them the golden boots.
No.
No, we didn't take them. What's going on? The statue of the boots have been stolen.
What the hell?
No, not the boots. He practically worshipped that thing. We do worship it. What? That's awful, but why are you guys being so weird? You were looking at the boots the other day. A small silence followed. So, I think you know what I'm implying. I don't know, Hana and Mai? I never would have thought they could do it. You can never trust pink-haired girls. My heart sunk.
Hana.
But Hana's so harmless. Especially when compared to Mai.
What?
What was that? Nothing. Come on, guys. You don't really think we did it, do you? They shifted uncomfortably. PBG looked away. Nick and Josh buried themselves in making faces at one another. Do you? I looked at Satch. Surely he would know I couldn't have done it. I spent the entire night at the festival with Satch. I was with him. There was no way I could have done it. Satch was avoiding my eyes, squinting at something on the wall. Satch?
Well,
You did leave early to do something. To take care of Oscar! Who leaves their date early to look after a fish? Exactly. You've got to be kidding me! I'm innocent!
It's not my fault.
So am I! Aren't you guys our friends? We thought you were ours. Looks like it might be better if we calm down and return to this later, okay? But it was too late. Shane led the club back to their own table, where they buried their heads together in whispered conversation. I can't believe this.
Hana.
Hana, I'm sorry. If I hadn't stolen the key to look at the boots, they wouldn't have suspected us. I looked at Mai, suddenly feel like I was seeing her for the first time. You didn't steal them, right?
What?
What? Like you said, you did steal the key, and you said that you had sticky fingers, so...
I can't believe this.
How could you say something like that to me? Don't you trust me at all? I can't even... She gathered up her things. But it's only logical. I just want a straight answer. It's not...
It's not my fault.
No, of course I didn't take them. Are you kidding me? You think I would do something to hurt any of my friends? Not to mention Jared? I just...
This is so stupid.
Have fun by yourself. She stormed off, shutting the cafeteria door with a bang. How did this happen? In a matter of minutes, I not only lost all my new friends I made, any chance to join the Normal Boots Club, but I also lost my best friend, and the person I'd been rooming with all year. I stared at my food. Suddenly I wasn't hungry anymore. The chatter of the lunchroom grew louder and louder until it seemed unbearable. I had to get out of there. Shoving away my tray, I got up and headed out of the cafeteria, away from all the people, to my only sanctuary, my room. I stood trembling in the doorway of her room. Thankfully, Mai wasn't there. I glanced out the window. Class would be starting soon. The students who ate lunch on the lawn trickled back to their respective classrooms. I would miss class, but I didn't care. How could this happen? I sat on the side of my bed. I thought I was finally fitting in somewhere. I thought I finally made friends, but I lost it all in a matter of seconds. This was so stupid. The room blurred as I started to cry. This was so stupid! Why did we go look at the boots without asking? Not everyone thought we were... I heaved a hot sob and not bothered to try and keep quiet. Everyone was at class now anyways.
Hana?
jumped. Satch poked his head around my door. The door I forgot to lock. What are you doing here? I hastily whipped my cheeks on my arm, but it was on my blazer, but it was too late. I could tell from the expression on Satch's face that he knew I was crying. He crept in the middle of the room, not moving any closer to me. I don't think you did it. You don't?
No.
No. The Hannah I knew would never hurt another person. She would never take something that didn't belong to her. She's too kind to do something like that. Tears rolled down my cheeks again.
Satch.
I don't think mine did it either. But concrete proof is needed before we clear any names. Even though I thought it's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, it hardly ever works out that way. Not when it comes to people's hearts.
Satch.
I'm going to try and figure out who did this, okay? I nodded. Until then, it's probably best for you and mine to lay low.
Yeah.
I'll handle this. But Satch shook his head. I mean it. I'll take care of this. Thank you, Satch. He nodded. He took a step towards me, reaching out, although he wanted to pat me on the shoulder, but seemed to think better of it. I'll see you around. With that, he left. I sat quietly on my bed, thinking over what happened. He said he believed us to be innocent, but I'd never seen him so stiff and formal. He seemed 1,000 miles away from me. I thought of fun we had at the flower festival, how we laughed and shared food and hugged. As much as he said he didn't believe it, some parts of him didn't trust me. Even though Satch was doubting my character, and albeit in the most logical way possible, grief throttled my heart. I wanted to get to know him better, but it seemed like there was no chance for that now. Everything was too much. I was so tired. I laid down against my bed and closed my sore eyes. They were going to be swollen. Just like that, I fell asleep. Ugh. I sat up momentarily disoriented.
Good morning. Hey.
Hey. I must have fallen asleep now the room was lit with a warm orange glow. The sun was just starting to set. It was happy and calm. It eased my mood slightly as I smiled at Mai. She avoided my eyes instead of marching over to her desk. With a brisk movement, she shoved a stack of papers into the books onto the floor. She yanked out of each of her drawers one by one and dumped over her desk. Pencil, plush toys, eraser that looks like bits of food, and surprisingly number of keys smoothed out of the white wood. Oh, hey, that's my Turby pen, so that's where it got off to. I grabbed the pen and handed it to me without even looking at me. She stared at her desk for a few seconds, seemingly thinking. She began to pick through the pieces, softening by size and color, and then her hands moved frantically, moving the piles where she even had nothing in her hands. Hey, Mai? Her foot tapped intensely against the floor. She tilted her head towards me, but I didn't respond. It took me a few seconds to realize that I was the reason she was acting this way. Shame crept up my shoulders as I pieced together what just happened before I slept. Stress or no stress, there was no way to treat my friend. I was definitely in the wrong here. Time to own up. I'm sorry about today, that I accused you. I didn't mean to. I don't think you did it. I believe that you didn't do it. I mean, I trust you. I shouldn't have attacked you just because I was afraid. I was scapegoating. I was really wrong. Her constant movement stopped and she sat back slightly. Her shoulders heaved as she took a big, deep breath. Thank you. She returned to her pens and paper, but this time she was more calm and started actually putting stuff back into her drawers. I turned away from her, needing something to cuddle. I grabbed Mr. Bunny and snuggled into his fur. Was it wrong of me to accuse her? It definitely was. But at the same time, when I did, how could you say something like that to me? She got so mad, even leaving the room. In a situation like that, it'd be normal to ask who did it, but I wasn't entirely sure her reaction was warranted. She was so defensive about it. As much as I'd rather not acknowledge it, it was suspicious. But Mai was my friend. She said she didn't do it, so I should trust her, right? But trust didn't mean I had to believe something just because when evidence was to the contrary. Oh! Satch came by. He thinks we also didn't do it. He's gonna try and figure out who took the boots. Mai stopped, sorting her stuff again, seemingly struck.
Really?
There was no need for him to do that. Why would he go so far for us? Satch is such a good person. He really is. He wants us to lay low while he looks for the evidence. That's fine. I don't feel like parading around right now anyways. sun faded slowly from view. The stillness in our room began to irk me. I didn't want to leave the room after what happened today, but inside our dorm, it was insulated, stuffy. Even though time had clearly passed, I was caught in a standstill. Satch was trying to save us. There wasn't any reason for him to do such a thing. We went to the Flower Fest together, sure, but what happens there is nowhere near justification for him to stick out his neck for us. He'd known us, what, a month? He was fighting against friends he'd known for a long... who knows for how long? Who knows for how long? I didn't even know that about him, did I? Yet, now I thought about it. He saved my neck with an overdue book, too. So, hold on, I need to close this window. He put his job on the line and never told me. Probably wouldn't have ever let me know either. He took on so much for other people and hardly ever talked about it. Why? Just because he thought it was right? And here I was, sitting in my room, fearing like a child, cuddling a rabbit. You want them to say Satch is such a daddy? I didn't think it was wrong that we should stay low. It looked really suspicious for me to be meddling around now, but I couldn't just sit here and do nothing. Some library books have gone missing. Oh, that's it. I could help him find the library books. Working at the library was what helped him pay to go to Asagao, after all. It'd be bad if he got in trouble or even fired. Granted, it wasn't his fault. It was probably the librarian's, but she was one with the power, and he wouldn't have time to find them after trying to clear my name. Of course, he'd let me do it if he knew I was helping him, so I wouldn't even mention it, knowing that there's still something I could do to help somebody who was himself so helpful made me feel tons better. Hey, do you want to work on that geography homework together? I'm never good at remembering where the Mushroom Kingdom is. I snapped at her superior with a jolt. Huh? Oh, sure. With a renewed sense of purpose, Mai and I got to work. Things wouldn't stay like this for long. It was all a matter of time before it just blew over. Mai and I faced each other in the stairwell, hearts pumping fast. Are you ready? Took a deep breath. There was nothing for it. We had to face them eventually. Might as well be now. Yeah, let's do this. Together we stepped into the hallway. Immediately ahead of us, Jared and PBG were grouped around a locker, whispering to each other with dark looks. Hey guys. From across the hall, the looks on their faces were priceless. We approached them. So far, so good. They hadn't run. How are you two doing this fine day? Swell! We're swell! I winced. My voice was so high-pitched, I was even hurting from it. Mel elbowed Jared in the side with a casual chuckle. Ready for that quiz? I'm not in your grade. Right. I met PBG. I was talking to him. So are you... PBG glanced down at him in desperation, finally locking eyes with Jared in a plea for help. Oops, I have to go now. I was supposed to meet the person at my locker for some ladies. Ladies. PBG grabbed Jared's arm, clinging for dear life.
Bye.
Jared ripped his arms away and dashed up the stairs. Oh. Damn, no wonder he was so popular. He could probably medal in a track legs with legs like those. Turning to face PBG, I smiled brightly. PBG was always friendly, and he always considered other people's feelings. He'd probably be okay with us. Well, ready for class? PBG glanced for the books in his hand to his locker. Yeah, I, forgot that also I needed... He walked away.
I can't believe
They just
this.
left? What the heck was that? It was a little much to assume they would just go back to normal right away. It's not that things that should go to normal, but couldn't there have been a little decency? They were acting like we were glitting vampires or something. I wanted to console her, to say something encouraging, but my mind was completely blank. Instead of thoughts, a feeling pounded through my skull down to my heart. Betrayal. I thought we were friends. This sucks. I was also so close to Jared. Closer than I've ever been before, and now he's further away than ever. And it's not even because I freaked him out. I thought he would have... Come on, let's just go to class. Maybe we keep our heads down. Lunch will be better. Class that morning wasn't fun. When I first entered the room, I nodded at them, trying to declare my friendship in some way. PBG and John wouldn't even look at me, and their backs remained fully turned the entire class. The one person did look our way. Boy, did he look. Each time his gaze strayed up to our side of the room, it was filled with venom. Ultimately, neither I nor Mai could handle it, and we kept our heads low, did our work. I had no idea what was Shane's deal. He was acting like we murdered a baby seals or something. There was nothing we could do but wait for time to pass. When the bell rang for lunch, we hung back a bit, trying to decide what to do.
Well,
It's not as we can avoid the entire cafeteria. I did not bring my lunch today. More importantly, I don't want to run away.
what the hell?
This whole thing is stupid. We did nothing wrong. And there's no real reason to be treated like murderers or people who use ad block. Oh. Look, let's just get back to lunch and we'll pretend everything is normal. And if that doesn't work out, well, we'll see then. And that's how Mai ended up standing in the middle of the cafeteria, our tray piles with spaghetti and cheesecake. There were seats open at the normal booths table, but they hadn't bothered to block them off. We stared doubtfully in their direction. Satch looked up. He smiled at us. It was like hearing music for the first time. In that moment, I realized we hadn't seen a friendly look all day. I began, just a little, to hope. Maybe he'll be fine. Maybe they won't mind? Let's give it a go, shall we? We headed for the table. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. They weren't moving. It's almost up to the table. It looked like... But then the body shifted. Books' feet came out of nowhere, and suddenly there weren't any free seats. We stared at them, unable to believe our eyes. They looked away sheepishly. It almost seemed premeditated. I couldn't tell whether they chose to do it this way to hurt our feelings, or they just hadn't realized we were still trying to make things right.
Oh.
Sorry, Hannah, Maya, it's just... We got a lot to think about right now. Official club business, you know? Privacy would be nice. Of course. I turned and walked away when I thought better of it. If things were going on like this, maybe it was better if we just get it over with one blow. Why keep trying if they weren't going to give us a chance? So, does this mean we won't be able to sit with you guys anymore? A look of alarm passed Satch's face as he opened his mouth to protest, but... I think it'd be best if we had some time to figure out things. I hung my head. I didn't want to look at them anymore. Mai and I turned off from the table. As we walked away, the looks on our faces made plain of what happened to the rest of the students. Hunched with whispers rippled through the cafeteria. They got kicked out. Did something happen? I knew it wouldn't last. As we continued across the cafeteria, something clattered to the right of us. A spoon on the table having fallen out of Luke's mouth, Ian grimaced and looked away. Even the hidden blocks was aghast. They didn't want to have anything to do with us. I frantically searched their faces, looking for some sign of warmth, but... A hand clapped over my shoulder, jolting me out of my thoughts. You call yourself friends? I was yelling. She turned around, was all out yelling at the Normal Boots Club. The men in the room stared at the food. I can't believe you, any of you. I thought you were better than this. She looked directly at Jared. Her hand tightened on my arm so much that it hurt. I thought you were better than all of this. If this is how you treat your friends, we don't want any part of this. Tears rolled down my face, horrified. I reached up to wipe them, nearly dropped my tray. I didn't want to be there anymore. Come on, Hannah. She jerked me away from the tables, away from the whispering herds of students, away from our so-called friends. But just before we left the cafeteria, Mai flattered. I really thought we were better than that. And we left. Without even realizing, we arrived at the classroom. Neither of us actively chose it, but it was completely empty. It would do. We automatically sat in our regular desk. I turned my chair to face Mai, this time tilting a bit further to block the opposite side of the room from front room. I was still crying. No matter how hard I tried, tears wouldn't stop coming. I hated it. I hated the feeling. So stupid and emotional. It would be so much better if I could be like Mai and get angry, make it seem like it didn't affect me at all. But it did affect me. It really did. So much so that Mai had to come to my rescue in front of everyone. At least I had her. She could have tried to distance herself from me to make herself look better, but she didn't. Where would I be without her? We ate in silence. The spaghetti I had, an American special, tasted like plastic. Mai shifted in front of me, drumming her hands against the top of her desk. In fact, she wasn't eating much at all. She pushed her food around on her plate, glancing up and now and then to look at the cloudy skies. She finally noticed me watching her.
Oh, no.
Something about the tone of her voice worried me. I set down my fork. I have something to tell you. Please don't get mad at me or anything. I was just trying to keep it a secret from you. It's just... It's never gone well, and I told people in the past I didn't want it to happen here too. My, we're friends. You unquestionably had my back this entire time. You deserve the same in return. I smiled at her. She sheepishly glanced away. She swallowed. I've kleptomania? I stared at her, and something clicked in place. Oh. Despite my best efforts, my surprise slipped through. She stared at me, her eyes widened with emotion I rarely saw in her. Fear. I smiled again, hoping to calm her. That wasn't so bad, was it? That's not so big deal. Isn't it? I was so happy when you told me I trusted me. Trusted. I didn't take the boots. Please believe me. Still, I would never take something so important, and definitely not away from my friends. I mean, I have before, but I don't really try to. I can't control myself. But I didn't this time, please. A smile slid off my face. Kleptoma. I never heard it discussed more of the joke as a terrible drugstore for people who another person did. But the compulsion to steal, wasn't it? Usually people were too ashamed to admit they took something. So I think. So Mai wouldn't have told me if she really took the boots. Would she? She was just easing her conscience? That would explain why she got so defensive when I asked her whether or not she took them. It would also explain why she defended me so viciously, because she felt responsible for what I was suffering through. She wouldn't want to take anything for else people she cared about. Wait. My Cherby pen, it was in her desk. I thought it was just misplaced, but she took it. You won't tell anyone, right? Mai trusted me enough to tell me what she was dealing with, and she was my friend. She could never did harm me, well, not intentionally. I should keep it a secret on the principle. Friends should do that for other friends, but what if she really did take the boots? What if this way of asking for help? Even if she did, shouldn't Satch know at least about this? He was investigating the situation out of the kindness of his heart. All he could do is he could use all the help he got. Wouldn't he need to know about this? I'll keep your secret. No, Mai was my friend. If she wanted to tell Satch, that was her business. I wouldn't tell anyone unless you wanted me to.
Hana.
Thank you. Mai hurled herself around the desk and into my arms. Whoa, no problem. No, really, thank you. I know things look bad now, but we're on each other's side. As long as we can rely on each other, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
You're right. As the clock neared the end of lunch, Mai stood up and took my tray. I'll take these back. Oh, thank you. No problem. She left the footstep calmly measured. She seemed feeling better, but maybe everything would work out? I hope so. One by one, the students filtered into the classroom. I kept my eyes on my desk, running across the grooves in the worn wood. What would it feel like to run my hands across it? I wanted to find out, but I was too afraid to move. Hana. I flinched at the sound of my name on another student's lips. The heat of several pairs of eyes lay flicked on my face like a ray of sunlight. I didn't want to look at them. I couldn't look at them. The grooves of my desk were really, really interesting, looping, swirling around. If it was a cannon, I'd fly through it. They probably weren't looking at me. In all likelihood, I was imagining all of this. Yeah, how stupid of me. If I were the center of the world, silly Hana. She stole? But she looks so docile. This is way too familiar. Suddenly, I felt lightheaded, as my mind would no longer tether to my body. Instead, I was floating up along the ceiling of the room, the place where people felt where they rolled their eyes from the back of their head. A familiar scene played before me. You're so selfish. You think you're better than us? No. Look at this girl. Who do you think she is? Say something! Oh. I was cowering on the floor beside my desk after school. I'd come to the classroom to get a textbook I'd forgotten. I ran into 3 girls. 3 girls who used to be my friends. You copied off my test, didn't you? No, I didn't. Why would I? How did you get to be the top of the class then? And how did you manage to catch Navi's boyfriend, huh? You've been sleeping around, haven't you? No, I haven't. You guys, I know I wouldn't do that. Liar. No wonder her mother was around to teach her proper manners. Ha! I bet her mom taught her how to sleep around. Haven't you seen her father? I was standing, the book silo on the opposite side of the classroom, Navi having ducked to avoid it. For an instant, they looked up at me in fear, and then Melissa started laughing. Oh wow, you're right. A bastard child from a bastard family. She'll never amount to much. But I feel so threatened now. I think I should tell the principal what happened. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Please don't. You don't mind cleaning up for us, then? We couldn't clean the classroom because another student attacked us. And we were all such good friends. Why'd we lie about this? I moved to the utility closet in the back of my room and grabbed a broom. That a girl. Guess she learned something from her mother after all. Hannah, are you okay? You're shaking. I opened my mouth to respond, only for my teeth to start chattering.
Class?
Okay, class, we're going to... I raised my hand. Hannah, what is it? Bathroom. Emergency. Please. Alright, be quick about it. I headed for the door, feeling as though I was moving through either. 3 familiar green jackets didn't move a muscle as I shut it behind me. The hallway passed before me in a blur. All I could hear was the sound of my own breathing and the blood pounding in my head. I reached the restroom. A quick glance told me it was empty. All the doors open. I picked one and rushed in, slamming the doors, closing the lid of the toilet. And I sat, pulled my knees onto my chest. I hate this. Deep breaths, Hannah. Deep breaths. Calm down. You're in the bathroom. You're at Asagao. Look, your uniform's different. The doors are locked. No one's gonna crawl under like last time. You're safe. Calm down. Deep breaths. As I breathed, my eyes wandered across the sterile green tile, thick metals separating the stalls. It really did look different from my old school, but there wasn't even graffiti on the backs of the doors. How in the world would Terry let people know that Bobby, she was together forever now? I giggled. Pull yourself together, Hannah. This isn't the end of the world. Sure, things are bad, but...
You're my best friend, Hannah.
Your score? That's incredible. No, Hannah, I know I never hurt you would never hurt another person. I've already changed. But I'm still so... What am I even doing here? Crying in the bathroom stall because people were whispering about me? Get a hold of yourself, Hannah. Grow up. Do you still want to be like this for the rest of your life? Every time someone is even the slightest bit mean to me, you run and hide, start crying and looking for someone else to take the fall in your stead? What are you doing with yourself? This won't be my future. I unlocked and pushed the door open in the bathroom stall. My face tear-stained, pink, stared at the back roof from the mirror. I'm going to change. From now on, I'm taking matters in my own hands. I'll find the boots. I'll clear my name. Mice too. And I'll find the missing books for Satch. He's been so kind to me, and I've let him take everything upon himself. But who does he have when things go bad? I want to be someone people can lean on. I want to be someone who can actually help other people. I rinsed my face in the sink and dabbled with a rough paper towel. This is the time that things change. I walked back into the classroom, shoulders square, eyes staring straight ahead. Shiz paused her lecture, waiting for me to take my seat. This time, I could see other students' head turning, following my movements across the room. I ignored them. When I sat down, Shiz began teaching again, a slight smile on her face. When her back was turned, Mai tapped my shoulder. Are you okay? I turned to face her.
Yeah.
Better than ever. She smiled, but watched me for a few seconds. I tried to put much of my resolve in my eyes as I could. I could do this. Finally, she nodded, and I turned to my classwork. First, I had to get through the class. After that, the library. Be strong, Hannah. I entered the library, a slight damp smell of old books and little sunlight tugging at my clothes. Passing by clumps of students with their heads hung over homework, I went straight to the front desk. Satch stood behind it, searching frantically for something, the piles of papers stacked along the black wall. He kept shaking his head, pausing as almost he was muttering to himself, running his hand over through his hair. It was odd. He looked really stressed. It wasn't normal for him. I almost didn't want to interrupt, but I came here for a reason. Excuse me. He jumped slightly.
Hannah.
Oh, Hannah! How can I help you? When he smiled, it seemed like almost nothing was wrong, even though clearly it wasn't the case. But the strangest thing is that the smile didn't seem disingenuous. He was truly smiling, happy, or content about something. Satch would never ask for help, but if he needed... Are you alright? You don't seem very well. Satch glanced around him before replying in a low whisper. More books have gone missing. Oh. Mine's not due for another few weeks, so at least I'm not the one hurting you this time. My joke fell flat as a dead raccoon. Satch's face caved in. He stared at the counter in front of him. It's not looking good for me.
What?
What? What do you mean? He opened his mouth but didn't speak. After a pause, he began to chew his lip. Then something strange happened. He seemed to almost gather himself up. He took a deep breath and set his shoulders back and smiled. Don't worry about it. He made my heart break. I wanted to crawl around the counter and give him a hug, but I wanted to feel the weight of his head against my shoulder, something to help him unload the burdens he carried. But as I looked at his smile, I realized he didn't want me to. More than that, he didn't want me to. Maybe if it was Gerard or Paul, but not Hannah. Not right now, at least. Maybe during the Flower Festa, we were close enough to share some of our burdens. But now? Satch was struggling. He didn't trust me enough to let me see it. My heart dropped. My neck grew hot. How exactly am I not supposed to worry about it? He waved to Hannah, swatting away a fly. I'll be fine. No. Well, I have no doubts that you'd be fine on your own, but... It was now or never. Maybe he didn't want my help, but he still needed it. I paused for a second, trying to find the best way in my word for my attention.
Well...
You're already trying to help me, and you have so much on your plate. The least I could do is help you find the missing books. 2 heads are better than... No, really, that won't be necessary. Why not? Other people are here for a reason. I'm here for a reason. I'm your friend. I want to help you, Satch. Satch looked at me skeevishly. He really didn't trust me, did he? I'm not going to give up on this. Really, Hannah, that's very kind of you, but... He looked around in desperation. I don't think that would be helpful. Please, just let me handle this. I got everything under control, I swear. But... Satch glanced over his shoulder. I mean it.
Alright, be good.
I'm gonna get back to work. I'll see you later. Satch stood up from the counter and went back into the back room. The librarian waited there, a stern look on her face. I turned and started back through the thick aisles of the books. Now what? If someone really didn't want your help, wasn't it kind of bad to force themselves onto them? But the question was, did he really not want my help? I was sure it wasn't because he didn't want it or need it. It was because, for all he said, he didn't believe I'd take the books. He didn't trust me, not at all. As if telling me not to help it's gonna do anything. He's got another thing coming, if that's what he thinks. Sometimes people don't know what's best for them. Of course, I was assuming I knew better. He did... I need some water. I was assuming I knew better than what he did, what he wanted, but... I had to do something. I wasn't just going to sit around and wait while he was in trouble. It's not looking good for me. Whatever that meant, I didn't want to make sure it started looking any worse. And there. I snipped the blades of my scissors and shut small books cut out fell in my lap. I set it into the pile, rolled up my shoulders. Finally, 4 thick piles of multicolored construction papers sat neatly before me. My hands ached from cutting so much at once. I set the scissors aside and grabbed the permanent marker that sat along my desk, along with the cloud-shaped decorations I made earlier.
Hannah.
I'm back! My face, and cheery as usual, bounced into the room.
Hey.
How was practice? Mai went to practice for the Asagao Strikers and almost every evening. Their first big game was coming up, but it was at another school, so I wouldn't be able to see her play. It bothered me a lot, but I was slightly relieved not to have to witness the prior burning rage that was Mai playing volleyball. It was fine, but I totally struck Mimi in the... What's all this? Mai dropped her duffel bag in the chair, surveying the mass of papers spread along the floor with myself in the center. I didn't know what we had to do arts and crafts here. I'm making flyers, actually, if you wouldn't mind helping me. It'll take a few hours by myself. Of course, what are they for? She plopped herself on the floor and took one of the stick figurines I made. Some books have gone missing at the library, so I figured we could put up some flyers reminding people to turn theirs in on time. Missing books. I tossed a few sheets on the paper at her feet and then uncapped a glue stick attaching my images. Yeah, they've been missing since a few weeks ago, but now it's getting worse. One of the books was just one I forgot to turn in, so I figured maybe that's what happened with all the books. Not really, you missed. Mai sprawled around the stick figure in her hands and looked as if she was doing cartwheels. They can look up who has late books in the system, you know. Yeah. Maybe it'll help anyways. She grabbed a paper book and smeared glue all over the back. People do forget. Maybe half could be reminders and half could be lost and found notes. Yeah, okay. Together we worked on the pile of papers of each. We compared handwriting and competed to see who could make the nicest flyer. I won, of course. It reminded me of the kindergarten, and it was oddly comforting. We ran out of images and books, and it was handing by a permanent marker to start drawing them when she slapped her leg with the back of her hand. Oh, shoot. I totally forgot. I left something in the gym. I should go get it. Okay, hurry back. Yeah, no problem. Odd. It wasn't like mine to forget something. Usually she only forgot something if she wanted a copy of my homework. I started on the third pile and began to think distantly sad. Why? My hand slid on the paper, a memory stirring in my mind. Back in the university, my parents ran a shop together. My dad created beautiful works of art, pottery and ceramics. My mom filled them with flowers as she grew. She tried to teach me how to make pots, but I could never do it. I got too nervous seeing how easily one mistake could alter what you were making. Instead, one day, he came to my room with a pile of papers. He folded them in seconds, and a blue morning glory appeared in front of my eyes. How did you do that? Smiling, he handed me a purple paper and taught me how to fold morning glories step by step. When we finished, I set them side by side. Mine was crumpled and stunted to be crisp. Beautiful creation. But he laughed. Separate. Neither would be considered beautiful. I blinked. In front of me sat a blue morning glory, the cover of the book sticking out a one petal. Slowly, I made my way through that pile of flyers, and then the next. The shadows grew longer and longer until they faded altogether. When I finally finished, it was 9, and mine still hadn't returned.
Yeah.
I'm done! I lay back on the floor, exhausted, and glanced at the clock. I shouldn't have taken her this long to get back from the gym. Did she run into somebody? I couldn't wait up for her. I had to get up early. I cleaned up, changed into my pajamas, and crawled onto my soft, cool sheets. Without my snoring, the room seemed intensely still, like silence was trying to press itself against onto my skull. I hope she's okay. The room blurred, and I drifted off to sleep. What? What was happening? I couldn't see. My eyes wouldn't stay open. So late. She closed the door and tiptoed over to her desk. She was being so damn loud. Turned over vaguely angry. Too tired. Want to sleep. Rustling of papers echoed from the side of her room. Quiet. A drawer shut. I climbed over her bed and over the mattress on my head shagged. I glanced at the clock. It was past midnight. She only just got back? Something seemed wrong. School wasn't in session right now. What? I couldn't think straight. My head hit the pillow and I turned over, drifting off to sleep again. Bright and early the next morning, I scurried through the halls, searching for Satch. I had to catch up before he went to class. There was no way I could show my face in the senior's classroom, with everybody still hating me. I turned a corner and confronted with a flash of bright yellow.
Hey!
Hi, Anna! What are you up to? Caddy stood in front of me, his head tilted to one side. I didn't know him too well. In fact, this was probably the first time we've ever spoke to her on our own.
Hey!
Hey, Caddy, have you seen Satch? I think he was up before. Something wrong? Nope, I just made these flyers. I wanted to give it to him. I nodded at the pile of papers I was holding. They were nearly as tall as my torso. Caddy blinked at seeing them for the first time. Cool! He smiled weakly. I paused. Is something wrong? He shoved his hand into his jacket pockets and glanced around the hall. I wouldn't say anything wrong, per se. He trailed off, but he didn't volunteer any information. Is it about the tournament? In a way, you could say that. His eyes cast at the floor. Things suddenly don't look too good for us. That's too bad. He looked truly sad. I tried as I might, but I couldn't hide my glee. He looked at me in surprise, and a sharp gleam entered his eyes. Don't get thinking it's in the bag yet, Miss Mizunu. We'll give you a right run for your money. If you say so. Giggling madly, I scurried past him and up the staircase. My fingers were starting to cramp. It wasn't that the flyers were particularly heavy, though they're by no means light, but they were horribly awkward to carry, especially up a staircase. I pushed through the staircase door open with a back and entered the 3rd floor. From across the empty hallway, I saw a familiar figure standing in front of an open locker.
Good morning.
Hey, girl.
I adjusted Satch and dropped a pile of flyers in front of him, heaving. Perhaps running up the stairs wasn't such a great idea.
What's going on?
What brings you here so early? Look! I took a flyer and shoved it in his face, and I stepped back and peered at the writing. Be a good date, turn in your books, it's late. What's this?
Well...
I made flyers to help your search for the missing books. I didn't want you to keep working on this alone, so...
Hana.
Oh, Hana. He cringed, satching the back of his neck. That's great, but I don't know if the librarian would be happy with these. She'll think they highlight what a terrible job she's doing. I stared at the sack of flyers on the floor, stretching my hand to ease their stiffness. Still, he leaned down and flipped through the sheets.
What?
Did you make all of these on yourself? Yeah, last night might help me too. Your handwriting's really nice. Thank you. My hand got tired at the end, so I'm not sure the ones at the bottom are any good. He straightened up and stretched. He stood for a while looking out the window. You know, I bet I could find something to do with them after all.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, if we use them right, they might even reduce the library workload. Happiness blew my chest.
Yay!
That's wonderful! Yeah. Yeah, it is! Thank you so much, Hana. Really, it means a lot. I had to do something to help you. He smiled, reaching a hand towards me after ruffling my hair, but stopped mid-gesture and instead turned back to his locker. Well, I need to get class early today, so I'll be seeing you.
See you later.
Right. Well, have a good day.
Copacetic.
I will. You too, Hannah. Make it copacetic. He took the stack of flyers and put them in his locker, and then he left for a classroom further down the hall. I watched as the door closed. I hadn't really been distant. I realized he hadn't been distant all this time. With a heart lighter than it was in days, I skipped down the hall and headed to my own class. Time to make up the homework I didn't do last night. It was only a few minutes before my exhaustion began to hit me. I did not handle the lack of sleep well. Either I grew grumpy and irritable, and Mai recognized my form from an all-nighter I pulled to write an essay in a few weeks ago. It gave me my space. Aside from that, class went as expected. The normal bits boy devoted my eyes the entire period, exception of the occasional vomit-inducing glaze from Shane. He seemed to be taking the situation much more seriously than the rest of them. I had no idea why. I never did anything to him, but for some reason, he never fondled me or my hair. I was a little closer to John and PBG, though. At least I expected at least polite contact with them, but it seemed difficult for them to even look at me. PBG especially seemed to be taking it hard. He was a kind soul, and didn't think he'd be able to continue isolating Mai and me if he didn't have the others to support him. As it was, any time I accidentally crossed paths with him, he seemed to be fighting an eternal battle. Flickers of emotions would pass his face, regret, sadness, disbelief, so of course he ended up turning up around and heading back from whence he came. He'd be late to class several times. Shouldn't they know me better than this? Shouldn't they know I wouldn't do something like that to them? But what did they have in common? A shared school? A tournament? The possibility of a shared hobby? Friendship meant different things to different people. To me, they were still my friends, but I guess to them, I was jolted back to reality as the bell rang. The chaotic shuffling of clad students filled the room into the rush to leave for lunch. PBG, John, and Shane left the room faster than I thought humanly possible. Any hopes of walking to lunch together vanished with them. I guess they didn't want to be in my presence any more than I had to be. Sighing, I zipped my bag shut and I felt a hand on my shoulder. Luke and Ian stood behind me, gazing at me in sympathy. At least Luke seemed to be sympathetic. Ian was being Ian. It was hard to tell what he was feeling with a face as impassive and disdainful as his.
Hey.
What's wrong with the long face? Do you really have to ask? No, I guess not. I shouldered my bag in silence and that followed. I wasn't sure whether there was a point to this conversation. I just wanted to leave. You know, you don't need to worry. I resist the urge to roll my eyes. Don't I? The Normalist Club are great people. Great people who drop me at the first sign of trouble. Look, I believe you're innocent, and because of that, I think I'll know to recognize it too. Just give them some time. I mean, they all can't be as smart as me. I grinned like a proud school kid. How do you know I'm innocent? He turned to Ian, who grins. It's time to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. Luke followed Ian out of the room, whistling. I don't know who the weird out of those two. I guess it doesn't matter, does it? They're both pretty hot. Is that all you think about?
Bingo.
Hey, I got something to keep my spirits up in these dark times. And dark times call for drastic measures. I shook my head. Let's get going. Maybe they'll have lobster for lunch again.
Yeah.
I sure hope so. We came out to the poppy hall when Mai stopped dead in her tracks. Oh shoot. What's wrong? I forgot my lunch money. Would you mind waiting here? I'm gonna run back and get it. That's okay. I have more than enough for the both of us.
Really?
Really? That's okay if I moosh off
Yeah.
you? Sure. Mai jumped to my side, gave me a big hug. Hana, you're the greatest. I promise I'll pay you back. You're better. You better. It wasn't like I could afford to be giving people handouts, especially not for Asagao's crazy expensive food. Come on, let's go. I'll tell you the secret in return. What's that? Once I saw Jeff shoving hamsters into helmets on them into little tiny cannons. What? He was trying to shoot them off into space. I mean, creeps found him in time and stopped him. I think he might have kept the hamsters too. Thank goodness. Maybe I'll think I'd rather death by cannon than I could go home with the creeps. You have a point there. And you know why Jeff is called Space Hamster? Let's get a brunch while I still have my appetite. Deal. We waited in line for our food, conscious of several stares shooting in our direction. Ignore them. Look, we got strawberry shortcake today. Yeah, great. I hated being stared at. We gathered our food onto our trays and began the slow walk to the back of the cafeteria, where our table was now located. Why did the Normal Foods Club sit in the middle of the cafeteria? We had to walk past them. Everyone was watching. I tried to concentrate on the smell of strawberries and the ham wafting from my tray, but I only found myself thinking of Jared's cologne. Ugh, get a grip. We trudged past them, and Mai nudged me and smiled in their direction. No one was looking, and they all suddenly engrossed themselves in their chopsticks and spoons. Everyone except for Satch. Just before we made it to our table, something caught my attention. Jeff was smiling and waving at us. After a pause, the rest of the hidden block joined in. Oh! Mai and I smiled and waved in return and sat back at our table in lifted spirits. Neither of us looked at the other, but we were thinking the same thing. The Normal Foods Club wasn't the center of the universe, and really, why did we expect them anything different from them? So, you know, I've been thinking. That's a bad sign. Rude. Who do you think would take the boots and why? The Normal Foods Club is almost universally beloved. Why is that anyways? They're a group of crazy hot men surrounded by pubescent girls. You do the math. Right, got it.
Well,
maybe they have a crazy fan that took it then? She wanted to get their attention?
I don't know.
Seems like an odd way to do it. They hate you afterwards. They say the opposite of love is indifference, not hatred. No, there has to be something in it for them. You don't think? The Hidden Blocks Club? We glanced over at their table. We waved at them. Caddy beamed and waved back. Ian rolled his eyes.
Well,
I thought it was them at first, but now I don't think so. They're a lot nicer than I thought they'd be.
yeah.
Yeah, I agreed. There's no way to do it. Plus, the Normal Foods guys are their friends. And the booths were locked up. Somebody had to get access when no one was looking. A school official? You think? Yeah, I mean, the librarian hates everyone in our school, and Satch in particular. And plus, that's that creepy nurse. Ugh, I forgot about him. Why does he wear that mask? I heard he killed his cat, and now he thinks his soul is inside it. He wouldn't have killed a cat, would he? Rumor has it, you take the mask away from him, half his face is burned.
What?
From what? Ex-wife tried to kill him. He glanced in our direction. We snapped our attention back to our food. Okay, let's pretend it's not him. There's no way I could face that guy. Who has a motive for hurting the Normal Foods Club?
Uh-huh.
We do. Well, now we do, but not then. What about... A clatter rang out and hush fell across the cafeteria. Muffled, angry voices came from the middle of the room. Shane and Satch seemed to be having some sort of disagreement. Shane was waving his arms wildly and pointing towards us. Satch shook his head vehemently. PBG grabbed Shane's shoulder, but Shane shook it off. Finally, he seemed to settle down. Staring at the floor, he said something. The rest of the group stared at him in shock. After a brief pause, Satch gathered his things and took to leave to the table. He's not leaving the club.
What?
No way. That can't be right. Satch strode across the cafeteria, stopping just above our table. Heat radiated off him. He was upset, though his expression didn't suggest it. Mind if I sit here? Of course. Go ahead. He placed his tray next to mine and sat down, proceeded to eat his fish burger. Shut up, nerd! I love that fucking pun! Everything looked a picture of calm. It was only because he was sitting next to me that I saw he was slightly trembling. After a while, conversation started up again. The Normal Foods guys looked mournfully at Satch, but no one made the move to follow him. Satch ignored them. So,
Hana.
I think you're innocent. Thank you. I couldn't let this keep going. Friends don't do this. People shouldn't do this. I can understand why, but they were just letting fear cloud their compassion. I couldn't let it just do it. Small warmth gloomed me. Tears prickled the back of my eyes. Do you think I'm innocent too? Satch turned to Mai, who looked at him uncertainly.
Well...
I trust Hana's faith in you. Oh, well, good. I think... Let's talk about something happier, how about? The Runchalas passed comparatively uneventfully. The hidden black skies gave Satch a pat on the back on their way out, with the exception of Caddy, who shook his hand. The normal boots men continued to ignore Mai and me. Before we knew it, the class had ended and the day was over. That night, I lay on my bed watching an anime about a loony high school girls when there was a knock on the door. Do you know who that is? No. Oh well, you better get it. Rude. I pushed myself off the bed and opened the door.
Hana.
Hey, Hana!
Hey.
Satch, what are you doing here? He was beaming at me, hopping up and down like a kid at an amusement park. There was something I wanted to show you. Will you come with me? Sure. Mai and I will be back. Mai, I'll be back later, okay? I only grunted in return. Together, Satch and I crossed the Bluebell house. I've been working on this for a long time, at least a few years, but I think I finally made a breakthrough. I wanted to test it out, but things have been kind of tense lately, so I don't think I could ask Jared to do it.
Yeah.
Then I remember I had you, and you said you wanted to help me out, so I finally figured out something you could do. He was talking a mile a minute. I barely registered what he was saying before I found myself in his room. It was just as spartane as I anticipated it. I'm gonna need a drink soon. Being the love child of Jared and Satch. Yeah, Jared is out right now. That's why I came so late. Where is he? He had to go to the city for some reason. He did not look happy about it. He went to his closet and pulled out a large blanket lump. Here it is! He removed the covering with a flourish. On the floor in front of me was some kind of machine, wires connected with a helmet, and a visor, an oddly shaped, almost square box. Satch kneeled next to it and started fiddling with a few things. See, I can test it myself, but it's a little harder because I'm the one who made it. I know how it's supposed to work. I have expectations.
Really?
Expectations?
Yeah.
It's everything with this, so I don't know if it's actually working or if I'm just manipulating it somehow. Plus, I can't even evaluate the effects when I'm wearing it. Not sure if my perception of time is whack or if, again, is messing up the... You shouldn't be hearing this or I'll mess up your run-through. Don't mind me. But what is this? A virtual reality machine. At least, that's what I hope it is, but no more question. The ruling your experience. Satch flipped up a number of levers and the machine began to hum at a dangerously high pitch. Noticing my worried glance, Satch chuckled. Don't worry, this thing is completely safe. I fell asleep wearing it once. Even Jared didn't notice. Were they deaf or something? That thing was giving me a headache. Finally, he finished whatever he was doing and held out the hamlet to me. You really want me to do this?
Well...
Please, wouldn't you, Hana? He looked at me, eyes shining. It was the cutest thing I ever saw. I couldn't say no to those dimples. Fine, hand it over. The helmet was surprisingly heavy. It took my glasses off and set them down. I wondered whether my neck would be okay wearing it for so long, but when I slid them over my head, the cables fell across my back and eased the weight somewhat. I couldn't see anything inside the helmet, not even Satch's room. Sweat started to build on the felt lining.
Copacetic.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it on now, alright? If you say so. In his excitement, Satch couldn't seem to tell what he was all apprehensive. I heard a snap, and the wires on my back started to vibrate. A burst of light blew through the helmet. I felt horribly dizzy as I was being rolled down a hill in a barrel. I don't feel so good. Hang on, it's almost... Satch's voice was fading away as he was jogging down a long tunnel. Satch? The dizzying sensation stopped.
Yeah.
Complete. His voice floated towards me, a delay between the syllables as if they were bouncing off a mountainside. In fact, I was by a mountainside. I shivered despite the lushness around me. It was cold here. Something about it tickled my legs. I looked down to see the long shafts of grass gazing at my ankles. You gotta be kidding me, this is a game? I heard a voice in the distance. Was it Satch? But it was drowned out by the wind. Suddenly, the dizziness returned. I felt myself being sucked into something. I shut my eyes tight. When the sensation stopped, I opened them, and I was completely white room. To my right there was a brown table. 2 cakes sat on top of it. A white one, which somehow I knew to be vanilla topped with whipped cream, and a chocolate one oozing with fudge on the inside. I was overwhelmed with the desire to take one, but which? I love vanilla. Cakes disappear. In their place, a chrysalis and a cocoon. Both were dripping with dew, but the chrysalis had been plucked, and the cocoon hung on a small pointed tree. Another choice? Cocoon? Rather than grabbing the cocoon, I tried to grab the bowl of the plant it was hanging on. As soon as I touched it, however, it collapsed into a white ball and shot off across the room. I hid under the table as it pinged around, loud as a firecracker. Suddenly, it stopped, and a small pink box skittered around under the table, a few inches from my toes. I opened it, and a piece of paper slithered out and unrolled itself before me. A quest? Nervous, but excited, I read it. Although you have a fast inner life, you would occasionally be quiet. You often have moments where you realize just how much you don't know around the world. You are a loyal and trustworthy person, and try to protect those you still care about. Still you realize that your loved ones are not the only ones on this planet. You want to leave the world better than you found it, and that is a noble ambition. The world could use more people like you. Stay open to beliefs. They may be the answers you seek. A fortune? The room disappeared, and I was left in darkness. A rustling filled my ears, and I felt a familiar softness around my arms and smelled cinnamon in the air. I was back at Asagao. I pulled off the helmet and gasped with air. I felt like I was gone for days. It worked! It worked perfectly! I watched him dance around the room and caught my breath. What? Thanks so much for your help, Hannah. Now come on. It's late. I'll walk you back to your room. What just happened?
Well...
It was a test scenario. I had you run through it real quick, and it works. I'm so happy. I still didn't understand what he was talking about. Suddenly we were in front of my room. I had no idea how we got there, let alone how fast. Was I really alright? You might feel a bit weird for a while, but it'll go away in a few minutes. I hope you're right. I reached for the doorknob. The coolness of the metal against my palm seemed to pull my senses together until they almost clicked in my mind. I felt much better.
Hey.
Oh, Hana? Satch had in his pocket, looking at me casually. Too casually. You still practicing for the tournament? Oh, I thought I wasn't involved in it anymore in light of the circumstances. Satch nodded. Well, I think you should keep practicing.
Really?
You think? They're just being a little obscene right now, but they'll come around. Trust me, they're great guys, and they're your friends. My friends? Really? I didn't want to say anything, but I couldn't hold back a little bit of a chuckle. I can't blame you for you feeling that way, but... Well, just keep practicing, and nothing else, you can count on me. Thanks, Satch. I'm glad. I believe I can. Thank you. Satch beamed at me and scratched the back of his neck.
Be good.
Anyways, it's late enough. I'll see you later, Hana.
See you later.
Satch left down the hallway, and I turned the knob and headed inside my room. Alright, I'm going to take a quick break, because I need water or I'm going to die. Come on. Come on, scene. Change scene. Please change. Please! It never changes when I want it to. Hopefully, up, there it goes. Alright, I'm gonna be right back. Hope it rains today. It looks a little cloudy. needed that. Oh, did I need that? Holy fuck. My throat was killing me, man. Oh, that was fucking disasterful. Alright, back to the game. Hey, I'm back! Ah! Mai was standing next to the door, staring at me as trying to read my face. Is something wrong? I heard what you were talking about. A small thrill of anger shot through me. Before I remembered just how thin the dormitory doors were. Of course she heard us. I see. I walked past her and set my bag on my desk, waiting for what she was coming next. Mai seemed to be considering what she should say. My heart sank. If Mai was actually thinking about what she wanted to say, it had to be something serious.
Well...
She sat on my bed, facing the rest of the room. There wasn't anywhere I could hide. Damn, she was good. I didn't know the tournament was still on the table. Me either, actually, but Satch says I should keep practicing. There must be hope, right? I trust him. I think it'll work out if he says he will. That's not what I was going to talk about. I know Satch is reliable. He doesn't say things without thinking, so... It's not whether you can trust him. I put my hand on my hip, suddenly impatient. Then what is it? Well, are you sure you even want to be in the tournament? Of course I do. Those boys have been treating you horribly. I know you were so happy when you had the chance to join the club and make friends with them. Heck, I was happy for you. We were both excited. Truly, they thought that we were, or could be, our friends. But they weren't. They aren't. Friends don't treat friends like this. Is it worth all the effort of practicing and preparing for the tournament?
Really?
Are you sure you want to do it? And just for fun? Or for them? I'm not trying to say that they're good people. They're not good people. Or you shouldn't try if you wouldn't want to, but... I just think if you think this through, I don't like seeing people take advantage of my friends. People I care about. Take advantage? Were they taking advantage of me? I don't blame them for how they reacted. It's not their fault that they drew the conclusion they did. I would have probably done the same thing in their shoes. I haven't had a pleasant past with people or people who thought were my friends, so I understand why they were upset. But wouldn't you want to be even more careful now? If this happened before, you don't have to tell me what happened, but what if you're making the same mistake? I didn't want to tell Mai about my past. How worse than being friendless, I was being betrayed by the few friends I thought I had. Maybe she had a point. Maybe I would be doing the same thing again, opening myself to that same kind of hurt. Maybe I hadn't learned my lesson. But
No.
I can't. I just can't get mad at them, even if they don't consider me their friend. They're friends to me. Friends make mistakes. They sometimes hurt you or get mad. That doesn't mean that we should drop them or leave them hanging. Besides, I like playing games and being part of the tournament. I want to keep going. If that's what you want, I'm not going to stop you. I don't like it, but...
I'll support you.
I guess. Thank goodness. A wave of relief washed over me.
Yay!
Thank you so much, Mai. You're the best. And you're a true friend. You should do the same for me if I needed help. You'd do the same for me. The next night, I was still working on Mai, as Mai prepared for bed. Are you not going to sleep? No. I think I need to finish this paper. I want to get it done tonight. She made a face. For a second, my heart stopped. Did she know what I was planning? I still don't get why we need to know the anatomical proportions of Goombas. Yeah. Me neither. Thank goodness.
Good night.
What's my pun again? Satch out of the bag? Yeah. Like, his username's Satchbag, so it's even funnier when you think about it. I won't. She crawled into her bunk and under the covers. In no time, she was fast asleep. I waited a few minutes to ensure that she wouldn't wake up, tapping my pencil idly against my desk. I hadn't told her what I was going to do. I hadn't told anyone, but I was going after Cufer. It wasn't a big deal. Okay, that was a bold lie. If I got caught, I'd be in some serious trouble, but that didn't matter. Satch was spending every day in that library and the Normwoods Club trying to clear our names. There wasn't much I could do for help there, but surely no one would mind if I bet snooping on my own. When I was finally sure that Maya was asleep, I slipped out of our room. Luckily, I didn't run into anyone on my way out of the dormitory. No one was supposed to be passed out night, so it wasn't a big surprise, but no one was roaming the hallways either. I stepped into the cold night air and took a deep breath. A slight wind blew through the campus, raising goosebumps against my skin. Shivering, I headed towards Poppy Hall. There was no way I'd be let in the classroom during the day, but at night... My footsteps echoed through the walkways. There wasn't a single soul around me, hardly any light. Since people weren't supposed to be out after dark, the lampposts were few and far between. If I was attacked, no one would notice. Shaking my head, I sped up. In no time, I made it to Poppy Hall. I crept in the hallway. A still silence encompassed the entire building. Suddenly, I was seized with a fear never explained during the day. It was so quiet, so still, so empty. Now I understand why people thought abandoned schools were haunted. They were creepy as hell. I crept around the corner, past the science lab, and back to the building. The Normal Boots Club should be right here. Crap, no. I was locked. Stupid. Of course it would be locked. They had stuff in there people could steal. Of course a teacher would lock it. Now what? I must go empty-handed? Stupid Hannah. I should have prepared for this. I heard a noise in the distance. My heart stopped. Footsteps. Someone was coming. Panicking, I searched around for my place to hide, but I was in the middle of the hallway, with nothing but lockers and windows. I was trapped. Clinging, I closed my eyes. The footsteps came closer, and then they stopped in front of me. No one said anything. Hesitantly, I opened my eyes. Mr. Satchmo? He passed me into the classroom door. Did you forget something? I left my math book inside. He nodded and pulled out a giant ring of keys. With the flicker of his wrist, he motioned me inside. I shifted, and he unlocked the door. He pulled the door open and gestured me inside. Hurry up, please. Deciding not to ask, I scurried inside. The clubroom was much the same as I remembered it, but I wanted to take a peek around, but now that Mr. Salmon was here, I decided better not to. Still, there was one place I could look. I went to the back of the room where the large metal closet rested. Please do not be locked. It's unlocked. I pulled open the door and looked at it, and top were a stacked few boxes with malicious items. Was that a skull and a crystal ball? Never mind. Below where the boots once stood was an empty shelf. I sighed, about to leave empty-handed when I remembered I needed a math book. Turning back to the locker, I pulled a random book out of the closet. Their boxes of junk came in handy. About to close the door when I noticed something. There was a dent in the bottom of the closet, under where the boots once stood. It's made of metal. Was that there before? I kneeled and ran my hand across the dent. Something heavy must have fallen into it. They get this one this large. Something heavy and ankled, something hard to carry. The boots! Now that I thought of it, the boots were made of solid gold. Of course they'd be heavy. Heavy and unwieldy and hard to carry. Whoever took them couldn't have taken them far, that was sure. And if they didn't have access to the clubroom in the day, they must have gotten the way I just did. Or they must have stolen the key themselves. But they would have done it at night, and then there was no way I could carry the boots back all the way without getting tired or caught. Which meant they were still in Poppy Hall? Miss, are you finished? Yeah, I'm coming. Tucking the book under my arm, I closed the door and headed out of the classroom. Miss Satchmo chaperoned me all the way back to Primrose House in a stiff, asked why he was wandering the halls at night, why he'd let me off, and why we always wore that brown suit. But looking closer at it, the suit was slightly rumpled, and there was a red ascot stuffed in one of the pockets. I looked closer at Mr. Satchmo's face. He grew somewhat flustered. Had he been on a date? If you don't tell, I won't tell either. He gestured at the book in my hand, and I looked down to see Dungeons and Dragons manual. What? I won't tell if you don't. He placed a finger to his lips and turned to heel back to Poppy Hall. He's playing Dungeons and Dragons. Whose book was this? Oh, she grabbed the Dungeons and Dragons book. Oh god, that's not good. Thankfully, I was able to sneak back in, hide the book, and pop into bed before Maya so much moved a muscle. Great! Now I was really a thief.
Hannah.
Are you gonna get up or not? I squinted early morning light. If you don't hurry up, you'll be late. How long did you have to work on that essay anyways? Essay? I blinked at her. Whoa, you really are out of it. You don't deal well with no sleep, do you? Come on, get up. She flung my blankets off me, the cold air rushed around my body, and I curled into a tighter ball. You have 15 minutes or I'm leaving without you. I sat up. Memories of the night before rushed back in my head. Mr. Sadamo, the book, and the dent. Oh, wait, he was on a date. I stole Jared's book! I got ready for school, speeding through my routine and grabbing something from our mini fridge. Tried to hide me over until lunch. Ready to go? Yeah. By the time we made it to Poppy Hall, I felt much less groggy. My hypothesis about the books came back to me, and without thinking, I mentioned it to Mai. Hey, you know, Mai, the moons were made of solid gold. She turned to me in mild surprise. Yeah, really? So where's this coming from? I was just thinking, they'd probably be heavy, right? They'd be too hard for someone to sneak in far before where they were taken. You think they're still in Poppy Hall? There was a gasp behind us. Mai and I whirled around. Walla was standing less than a foot away, staring at us with wide eyes. Is something wrong? Huh, no, I didn't mean to startle you guys, I just fell asleep.
What? You
fell asleep, but you were walking. Yeah, I know, it happens all the time, actually. We stared at him. He glanced around as though looking for a way out. Well, it was nice running into you guys. Haven't seen you in a while. We should catch up sometime, but I gotta get to class.
Bye.
Walla had walked past, giving us a wide berth, hands in his pocket. That was really weird. Do you think he heard us? I think so, and I think it's really suspicious regardless. I've never heard Walla falling asleep while walking. Me neither. We looked at each other, an idea forming the space between us. It wouldn't hurt to check things out for a bit to make sure, you know. Yeah. You'd never be too careful. Just like that, we agreed we would wait until everyone was at lunch and then do a little investigating. Lunchtime came. As everyone crept out of the classroom, Mai and I stayed behind, refusing to make eye contact with anyone. Our hopes was that it looked like some kind of protest. The normal guys, and by extension the entirety of the class, were pretending that we didn't exist. Most of our attempts at friendly interactions were completely ignored by the class. The normal guy got incredibly uncomfortable and just walked away, while most of them, Shane would actually shoot us a dirty look if we got close to him. Whether they bought it or not, the classroom quickly emptied out and Mai and I headed to the hallway. Do we even know which one is Wallet's?
Well,
he's a first year, isn't he? He should be outside this classroom. We'll be able to figure out, and if not, let's just look at all of them. I balked. Mai was totally serious. We reached the first floor, landing and crept around the hallway. Thankfully, no one was around. They were all engaged in the middle of a mad rush to get good food before the cafeteria ran out. We crept around the corner of the classroom to 130. It should be one of these. We walked down the hallway, hoping for some kind of sign, and then Mai stopped walking. Oh my gosh. She burst into laughter and pointed ahead of her. Confused, I followed her finger. One locker in the middle of the row was completely covered in stickers. Curious, I stepped closer. Images of Walla's face peppered throughout the various words were plastered across the locker. Meme Lord, borrow the butt, and other strange sayings are scrawled across each.
What?
You gotta be kidding me. I don't really get it. Once upon a time, a few years ago, back before you came to school, Wallet had a bit of a temper. Long story short, someone caught it on camera and uploaded it to the internet. Oh. And the rest is history, as you can see. I stared at the different images of Wallet's face. This takes dedication. Did he do it or his fans? Honestly, I couldn't tell you. Anyways, let's get to work. Do you mind standing guard? I stepped in the middle of the hallway, alert for any sound or movements from either end of the hall. I fiddled with the handle on the locker, sticking something inside of the metal. In a few minutes, the door was open. Where did you learn how to do that? I was a rich kid growing up. I had to learn a trick or two to get out of my house. Your parents didn't let you out of the house while you were growing up? She made a face at me and opened the locker door. Nima leaned over her shoulder to see what she was looking at. Wallace's locker wasn't empty like mine or mine's was, but there were no books inside. Instead, a litter of Barney CD-ROMs games were splayed across the top and bottom shelves. And in the center, on one of the hooks, was meant for a jacket or cloak. It was fluffy pink white suit. Wait, what? I reached out to touch it. It was soft, and there were some silk pelt coats underneath the shorts. My guess was that it assembled would hit Wallet somewhere in the mid-thigh region, and the pants would fluff up like a bonnet. The shirt was sleeveless, gold-plated buttons, and zipper trailing off. What is this for?
I don't know.
I have no idea. I've never heard anything like it. She shut the locker door. We've seen something we were meant to see. We can't mention this to another soul. Of course not. I don't really get what the big deal is, though. He brought it to his locker, so he must really not be that shy about it. I shook her head. You'd be surprised what you can sneak into a locker without anyone seeing. The important thing is that he didn't have the boots, so he's perfectly innocent.
Wow.
Let's just go eat lunch. She stalked off, completely unconcerned as whether I followed her, and I ran to catch up. If Wallet didn't want people to know, there was no reason we should mention it. It would be pretty hard to explain anyways. When we made it to the cafeteria, we were among the last to get our food. My eyes strayed to Wallet in the hidden blocks table. He was chatting happily, completely unconcerned about the odd suit he had in his locker. I felt blood rise to my cheek, and then we locked eyes. I turned away, focused on getting my food. We had the chance to sit down. I glanced over the hidden blocks table and noticed Caddy, Ian, and Wallet watching me. I grabbed Maya and dragged her out of the cafeteria. I was terrible at keeping secrets, but it was best to avoid the situation entirely. That night, I waited until long after Maya fell asleep to get up again. I changed back to my uniform into the darkness and snuck out of our room. Wallet hadn't taken the boots, but the look Ian, and Kevin gave me at lunch stayed in my mind. It was almost hostile. I didn't understand why, but they had no reason to snooping around their things. It seemed to me they were on the defensive, so it couldn't hurt to check. I ran across the grounds, this time avoiding the streetlights. I wasn't sure what gave me away with Mr. Sadamo, but it couldn't hurt to be more careful. I made it to Poppy Hall and wondered where Wallet's locker was. Their clubroom should be around here somewhere. If I were a member of the hidden block, what would I put inside the classroom room to indicate where we met? It was hard, but they had such different, distinct personalities. But the loudness of personalities would probably have their way. Just then, I walked past a classroom that was something pasted on the windows caught my eye. I tried the door. It was open. I stepped in the room and it was immediately hit with a pungent smell of old chicken salad, macaroni cheese, and chips. Good lord. I couldn't breathe. I shrugged to one of the windows and slid open, gasping for fresh air. What the hell? Does no one take out the trash in here? I glanced around the room and immediately locked eyes with a face on the wall. Wallet? A giant version of Wallet's face was watching me from the wall next to the door. I shivered. I do not like it in here. Turning away, I caught a note on the blackboard. I'm not taking out the trash anymore. Please learn to do it yourselves. Jeff. Me neither. Love, Caddy. Just below were a bunch of scribbles that looked like an argument about who could and could not take care of themselves, with different colors of chalk scribbling out each other's sentences. To explain that, I shook my head and began searching the desks in the room. Most were empty, but what the hell is a gun doing in here? Slaughter was written in silver Sharpie on the side. I'm gonna die in here, so oh, it's Caddy's slaughter gun. Leaving the desk behind, I crept my way through the cabinets at the back of the room. Old candy wrappers with several obscure alternate music CDs and a set of extremely expensive-looking microphones and headphones. An old notebook? I took it out and flipped it through at first. The first few pages inside cartoons thickening. Nokimon, a pink ball of fluff, anthropomorphized rocks. Oh, these aren't half bad. But nowhere did I see the reference to the boots. Sighing, I reached to put the book back in the cabinet, but not before scribbling a small image on my face on one of the pages. They wouldn't suspect me. Why should I let my else by drawing my own face? All the sneaking around was getting to me. I was becoming a rebel, a bad seed. But there was nothing else I found that could possibly lead me to the boots. I chose the window and left the room, sighing with relief. I shut the door. The window might have been open, but it hadn't been for the smell. But that hadn't stopped the smell. How in the world did those boys live like that? No, knowing them, winning the fight was more important than being clean. I was wondering that they were all friends and how much they picked on each other. But then, that was probably the point. So, their lockers must have been right around there, too. I stood on my tiptoes, peeking through the slats on the one in front of the lockers. I couldn't open them without Mai's help, but I could at least see what they had in them. But as I peered through them, I came up empty. Playmaster games, a hamster wheel, something called an Ian box, a Rulian shield. The lockers were weird, but there was no signs of the boots. As I headed to the door, my heart sank. It wasn't the Hidden Blocks Club. Really, that should make me happy, but it shouldn't be good that they were true friends in the Normal Boots Guide. But at last, they were my only lead. Really, now I was back to the very beginning, no better off than I was before. I climbed to my room with heavy steps. I was already 1 in the morning, and I had no idea how much time has passed. I changed my pajamas and stumbled onto bed. Great, how worthless was I? I stared at the book in front of me. I was supposed to be reading, following along with what Miss Shiz was teaching. Instead, I yawned. The words blurred together in front of me, talking about how a badger made honey once befriended the 13th captain of the Zodiac. I even had a harder time getting up in the morning. I didn't think a few days of less sleep would affect me so much, but they definitely did. I yawned again. Surely wouldn't be a... couldn't see a... Strange images whirls in front of me. The boots. The dent in the locker. Satch. Oh, Satch. I was looking at him in the library. This was back when I told him I was going to help him. He was in such panic. But now that I was looking at it again, I remember the librarian much more clearly. She was glaring at him so venomously, I could almost feel the heat from where I stood. There was no way she would do anything wrong to him, right? Right? Something shoved into the back and snapped awake. Feng Shui! Say Feng Shui! Feng Shui? Miss Shiz, who was staring at me from the front of the class, put her hands on her lips.
Yes.
Yes, the answer is Feng Shui. And what is its purpose? If place the object in the front of your house, you get more money. And the rent in the back of the room, people will give you more stuff. Shiz squinted at me. Well, not incorrect. We're talking about the traditional effects of Feng Shui now. Mizno, not the old country superstitions. Please pay better attention. Yes, ma'am. I sat back down and a shocked, graceful look at mine. She nodded at me, full face of concern. I smiled back and turned around, hoping that it would ease her mind, but as I looked at my book, I suddenly realized I had no idea what the lesson was even about.
Hannah.
Hannah! What happened? I blinked at her. My eyes felt gooey and slow, and they were glued shut. Class is over. It's time for lunch.
What?
Already, but did I miss all morning? I nodded. I sat up and looked around the classroom. Only a few stragglers remained, jolting down final notes. I'm sure you've been really stressed about everything that's happened, but that's not good to fall asleep in class. I know it's not like I'm trying to fall asleep, but still, this was not good. Asagao Academy was a prestigious school. People only got in if they had high academies, lots of money, or were extremely talented in some way. I was none of these things. The scholarship student, that was the only way the school and other students felt better about themselves. If I was dragged down the school image, they kicked me out without a second thought. I wasn't sure I made it in the first place. It's not your fault you were having trouble sleeping. Come on, let's go to lunch and not worry about it, yeah? I nodded and stood, feeling somewhat like I was not part of this world. The walls blurred as we headed out of the classroom. Maybe if I touched one, I'd fall right through. When we opened the door, we almost walked right into John and PPG. Whoa! Oh god. Hey, we were just coming to get you guys. Wait, what? Wait, you're talking to us again? I glanced over really cheerily. John and PPG were avoiding eye contact with me. It'd been 3 weeks since they last spoke to us. Maybe I was still asleep. At least my brain was moving too slow for me to say anything about it. So the thing is, we want to apologize.
What?
You do? We realized we were being total jerks. We felt terrible about it, or at least I do. Hey, it was an honest mistake. People make mistakes all the time. I stared at John's broad face, trying to click together what was happening. You ignored us for 3 weeks and you're saying it was an honest mistake? PPG elbowed John aside and shot him a look.
No.
Ignore him. He sticks his foot in his mouth so much you'd think it'd be a lollipop. But we came to invite you to lunch with us again. You'd still have us, but we want to make up to you somehow, and we missed you. Both of you!
I can't believe this.
You're not suspicious anymore? Well, PPG bellowed inside again. Okay, sorry, I just thought it'd be funny. No, we're not. We can't speak for the others, but you have our support. My head swarmed. The frustration of 3 past weeks, the betrayal, the late nights, the tears, the whispers, the jump out, all built up inside me. Did they want us just to forgive them let them all go? Mai looked at me, waiting for my decision. It seemed like she didn't know what to make of it either. Sure. Really? Yeah. I blinked furiously, tried to clear my eyes of the tired haze. I guess it never hurts to ask, does it? I guess not. Well, you heard the lady. I didn't seem overly comfortable with what was happening, but the decision was made. She wasn't going to leave me now. I smiled and grabbed her hand. Thankful, she grinned at me in return. As we walked to the cafeteria, PPG fell into a step behind me.
Hey.
Are you sure you're okay? I looked up at him in surprise. He was searching my face intensely. What? Yeah, I'm fine. We were such a jerk to you guys. We don't deserve to be forgiven that easily. I laughed lightly, but it came out sounding more like a wheeze. It's no big deal. Life is too short to let things affect you for too long, right? Guess? Hana's been losing sleep over this. That's why she looks so dead right now. Excuse me! I'm just speaking the truth. I'm so sorry. PBG looks sick. Sad puppy.
Hey.
That just means we'll have to work even harder to make it up to you, right, PBG? He stood on his tiptoes and put his arm around PBG's neck, pulling his head down so he was level with John's. He put his lip to PBG's ear and whispered something into it. For quite some time. When PBG was finally released, he seemed more calm. It was your decision to make. Yeah. When we finally made it to the cafeteria, after getting our food, we headed to the normal booth table, walking in a straight line like our foot soldiers. Satch was sitting at the table too. It seemed like he'd rejoined them since we weren't there to eat with them this time. At least he didn't cause a rift. As we approached, Shane popped his head up.
No.
We didn't even say anything. I'm not eating with those people. You're overruled. That's not even a thing.
Well,
Let's have a vote. Slowly, the clatter in the cafeteria returned to silence. Who thinks Hana and Mai should be allowed to join the normal boots table? Raise your hand. Satch hands shot in the air first.
Yeah.
I do. It's about time, too. Gerard, Nix, Pauls quickly followed.
right?
That's 6 out of 9. Sorry, Shane, but you've been outvoted. Shane glared at John, but said nothing. John sat at the table, jaw set and eyes blazing as daring to someone to argue with them. PBG and Mai soon followed, but I stood frozen where I was. How was I supposed to sit down and act like everything was normal? Mai grabbed my arm and pulled me to the seat next to her. I avoided Jared's, Shane's, and Josh's eyes. At least now I knew he definitely didn't trust me. I gritted my teeth. It wasn't enough that I had to endure 3 weeks of hell for them. It wasn't even enough that I had immediately forgiven them for that hell. They still didn't trust me? The club ate in silence, and I struggled to contain the spurts of anger and shame that were trading stages in my mind. When the bell finally rang to go back to class, I'd never been more happy. After the excitement of the day, it didn't take long for Mai to fall asleep. I lay and listened to her steady breathing, resisting the urge to fall asleep myself. Finally, her gently snoring began. I put on some clothes and headed back outside. At this point, I was getting used to creeping around at night. It was horrifying the first time. I had a few close calls, but I still didn't think there were going to be someone jumping out from the corners trying to kill me. I was worried that the hostile as it was, at least Asagao wasn't. I dashed across the campus into Poppy Hall. Only once was I inside did I realize I didn't really have a plan. There was nothing in the hidden blocks lockers. The club room was empty when I last looked. I crept onto the 4th floor, hoping to begin an in-depth search from the room to room. Someone had to have had it nearby. They were too heavy to move during the day. It would take at least 2 normal people to move them. With this in mind, I worked my way back from classroom to classroom, closet to desk, searching in those lockers and nooks and crannies. Try after try, I found nothing of interest, at least to the boots. There was an oddly large amount of stuffed animals in these kids' desks. I searched for the last death on the 4th floor, and I sighed. Still nothing. Slipping down to the 3rd floor, I braced myself to begin again, until I heard a noise from the closet end of the hall. It was coming from an old, unused closet, just opposite of the stairwell. Yellow light ringed from the edges of the door. Someone was in there. And they weren't in there on my way up. There was no way a janitor either. A janitor threw up the lights on the entire floor when he was cleaning. No, this was someone else. I edged across the hall, taking care not to let my steps echo on the wooden floor, as they were prone to do so when no one else was in the hallway. I finally made it to the edge of the door. Taking a deep breath, I grasped the cold handle and all at once turned it, pushed open. Jared? Ah! Ignore! Ignore! Jared stood before me, a collection of books at his feet and the shelf above him. His arms were open version of 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons? I glanced at the books on the 4th floor, 3rd edition, 3.5, 4th edition, Warhammer, and I read what looked like new locations and expansions laid in order of the edition and release date. They sparkled in the light, mint condition, despite how old they were. Jared and I locked eyes. We didn't say anything. We didn't move a muscle. Time was suspended. I couldn't take it. Indecent! I screamed and ran, sprinting for the staircase door. Hannah, wait! Jared was following. I pushed through the staircase door and down to the first floor, bursting through, but Jared was casting fast. Damn, you're good, James! The front door was too far away. I'd never make it. Instead, I dove into the first year classroom, hoping he didn't see me, but... Hannah! No, stay away from me! Ah! I ran into the back of the room. There was nowhere for me to go. He slowly approached, eyes gleaming. You saw nothing. I wish he was finally in front of me. I said, you saw nothing. Jared slammed his head against the wall on either side of me, and I was trapped, pinned to the wall. Oh. Damn it, Hannah, now is not the time for that!
No.
Hannah, please. Suddenly I was thankful for the dark, because I was definitely the one being indecent right there. And don't tell anyone what you just saw, please. I wasn't sure whether more visceral to me, my fear or Jared's presence. Finally, I caved. Just get him out of my face. Okay, I won't tell anyone. I promise.
All right.
He swept me under a hug, and suddenly I realized I was pinned between the wall and against Jared. I flushed a deep red, not sure where to put my arms. Thank you so much. I was gonna die here. The blood would leave my body, go to my face, and I wouldn't be able to breathe anymore. Goodbye, world. It was nice knowing you. What was that? Jared released me. Instead of tugging me to the floor, we crouched there for a few moments, waiting. Sound of footsteps rang across the hall, along what sounded like a muffled curse, and then silence. We should leave. We really shouldn't be here. Jared looked at me, as if to realize I was also sneaking around the academy in the dead of night. I won't tell if you don't ask. Good enough for me. Quietly, still crouched, we crept on the first floor classroom into the main hallway. Sweet Jesus, look at that! Now, we knew what made that noise. A large crack in the middle of the floor, splintered and dented wood. Somebody dropped something really heavy. You don't think... The boots? We looked at each other. We dashed outside Poppy Hall, scanning the nearby area. Damn it! You've got to be kidding me! They were right outside the wall, Jared! They were right there and we missed them! We shouldn't have left when we had the chance. Stupid, stupid! I'm sorry, I was the one who stopped us. Yeah, you were. With a slight smirk across his face. At least now I know what you were doing in there. I don't know what you're talking about. Now if you don't mind, it's late and I should be getting to sleep. Stiffly, I began to walk back to the Primrose house.
Hannah?
I whipped around. Shh, what and what? I'm sorry, I suspected you. Taking back, I didn't know how to respond. Well, I'm sorry I was so rough about it. I really didn't know what else to say. Jared waved a hand at me and carelessly the way he had.
Bye.
Don't even worry about it. Good night, Hannah. He nodded, and at this time I felt like I wasn't stopped again. At least not until I made it back to the dorm. Something seemed off. Quietly, I slipped the key into the lock and turned it. A click that usually sounds so quiet now sounded like a clanging of a clock tower. Nervously, I opened the door. Shit.
What the hell?
I knew you were up to something. No, I was just in the bathroom. Hey, you put on your clothes for that? I looked down at my uniform. I'm, bathroom shy?
Really?
And you were gone for 3 hours? I really needed to poop. Fine, you got me. Now let me in. So what happened? I wasn't sure what to tell her. I hadn't prepared anything in advance. In an effort to make it seem all casual, I said the first thing that came to mind.
Well...
I forgot a book and went to go get it, but I ran into Jared on the way.
Oh, Jared.
Oh, shit. It had to be Jared, didn't it? Okay. You cannot hold out on me. Tell me what happened. I need all the details. friend, are you? Low blow, now what? Keep the promise. Jared's embarrassed by it. But, whoa! Whoopsie daisies.
What?
I can't really tell it. What? Why not? I just can't, okay? I crossed her arm.
This is so stupid.
I tell you the deepest, most darkest secrets of my life, and you can't even tell me what you were doing with Jared? I held up my hands. It was nothing like that, I swear. We really did just run into each other, but I'll tell you something even better. I hushed with whispers and I told her about the crack in the floor. We just missed him. Him? Or her, I guess. And while I was coming up for the walk, I had an idea. What if whoever took the boots also took the books? What if somebody had us out for Satch? But who would, except the hidden block? Satch is Swedish.
Well,
Maybe it's not the hidden blocks in entirety trying to bring Satch. Maybe it's just Jimmy, since they're going against each other in the tournament. It's not that I wanted to think Jimmy had done it, but it was the best lead I had at this point. I'm going to bed. She swept past me, climbing onto the ladder onto her bed. What? That's it? But this is a huge lead! It's late. Go to sleep. She crawled under the covers and turned away from me. Suddenly, I felt exhausted. I changed in my pajamas, flipped the lights off, and fell into bed. I was asleep in seconds. Next morning was awful. I almost didn't get out of bed. It took my shaking me awake 5 minutes before we were about to leave for me to even wake up. As soon as I saw what time it was, my heart felt in my throat. I never got ready so fast. I'm gonna stalk you with these. The spike of adrenaline immediately after waking up left me feeling lightheaded and oddly not in my body. I tried to let the cool morning air wake me up, but the world just looked strange in the sunlight. It was like I was trapped in a computer program and the sunlight was painted on. It simply did not belong. When we made it to the poppy, I was relieved. All I wanted to do is collapse in my seat and maybe catch a few minutes of quick sleep. Though I'd done it, I'd be able to after such a rough awakening.
Hana.
Before I could even get to the classroom, a panicked voice stopped me. A worried Satch stood in front of me. In fact, this was the most worried I've ever seen him. He was wriggling his hands, touching my face. Apparently, he did not like what he found. Jared told me.
what?
What? He raised an eyebrow meaningfully. It took seconds for my brain to catch up what he was implying. Damn it, the jerk! He said he wasn't gonna tell! I said and to think I kept a secret last night. That's not important. I know what you're doing and I don't like it. I want you to stop. You can't tell me what to do. And why not? I told you I have this under control. You're just gonna get yourself into trouble. You're in enough trouble as is. He stopped, and annoyance turned to concern, and he reached out and brushed my face. How many nights have you been doing this? It isn't healthy. I pushed his hand away.
No.
I don't care. I had to do something. Satch deflated a little, then gathered himself up again. Well, that's besides the point. I told you, I'm gonna clear your name. You should be taking better care of yourself. Nobody's even suspects you anymore. Not really. Not after what you did for Jared. It's about time. It only took them...
What?
Wait. You think I'm doing this for me? I searched his face, and he looked back at me in confusion. Yes? A surge of anger bubbled in my stomach. You've got to be kidding me! I'm not about being suspected. I've been suspected for 3 weeks. I can stand a few more. Then why are you doing this? We were all out yelling, for us anyways. In the middle of the hall, class started in a few minutes, and the swarm of students walking by stopped to watch us. You're so stupid! It's because of you! You're working so damn hard all the time, you take all this extra work and you never tell anybody. I couldn't just sit around and watch it happen. You've been so stressed, and you're still trying to help me out, Mai. It's totally stupid. Tears strung my eyes, but my attempt to stop crying didn't work. It wasn't like me to get all worked up, but... Alright, no sleep. Satch stared at me speechless. I shook my head. You only rely on yourself, and you never tell anybody what's wrong. You only just help other people. Well, you need somebody to rely on too. I don't want you to work it alone anymore. I just don't. I stopped, unable to say more, wiping my face. Blaming our exhaustion, but I didn't care that people were watching. I just wanted Satch to understand. The students, clearly uncomfortable, started filtering into the classrooms. Satch gestured a few times, clearly he would begin to speak, but each time he thought better of it. Finally, he swallowed. We can work together. We? Can? Satch nodded, seemingly unaware of this action. Sure. The school bell rang and class was starting. I beamed at Satch. He still stood in front of me, as if in stupor. Satch? No response. I stepped behind him and gave him a shove towards the staircase.
Hey!
Go, you're gonna be late for class.
Oh,
Right.
alright, be good.
See you later, Hana. You better. I stepped in the classroom and went to the closed door behind me, and I heard Satch quickly alert. Thanks. Ahem. If you don't mind taking your seat, Miss Misanu, class is waiting. Yes, ma'am. I dashed to my seat, waiting for Shiz to lay some kind of punishment on me. Instead, a small smile tugged at the corner of her lips. Now then, we shall discuss the benefits of motion control for the modern video games. Class groaned, and I liked that. It was over.
Yo, what's up?
What was that about? Just a small victory. Satch and Hannah sitting in a tree. I forgave you once, Miss Misanu. Don't think I'll do it again. Yes, ma'am. I sank a little in my chair and pulled out my book. There was no way I'd fall asleep this time. I sprinted to the library. Satch was sure to be working, and he had to know what I discovered about the boots. He probably had an answer. I flung open the door to the library. Several heads shot up in my direction. The librarian was nowhere to be seen. I ran to the front of the desk and slammed my hands down on it. Satch! Satch's head peeped up from the staff room. Seeing me, he grinned and came down.
Hana.
What do I owe the pleasure? I think I figured out something about the boots. He frowned, glanced around, and waved me behind the counter, and back to the staff room. He closed the door and glanced through the glass. He motioned for me to speak. I began to tell him exactly what happened last night. When I mentioned running into Jared, he held up his hand.
What?
What exactly did you see? I shifted nervously.
Well,
It happened really fast, so I didn't see much. I was really freaked out, and so was he. I just bolted immediately. I don't know why he was in there. Satch gazed my eyes, and I swallowed heavily. I wasn't going to go out Jared, not even to one of his friends. But something told me that Satch knew I was lying. Finally, he sighed. Continue. I finished my story, describing how the dent we saw on the ground, and my belief that someone had moved the boots out of the hall. So whoever took them might be planning on selling them, or keeping them out of your hands for some reason. Interesting. The boots are worth a lot more money, so maybe it makes sense for somebody to sell them. Except that almost every student here is loaded, the main exception being you. I winced. Regardless, this is great information to know. I'd really rather you didn't risk yourself going out at night. School is important. You worked so hard to get in here. Hold on, let me just... My hand's turning purple, so I need to take off this. Woo! I don't know what they found you, and there are other dangers as well. You're lucky you only ran into Jared. Lucky? I was scared for my life. Hold on, I need to put my hair in a ponytail. It's hot in here. That's some heat off my neck. Exactly. But I don't want to keep you long. I know you have to work and you can't get in any trouble either. I chuckled. Satch, however, was staring out of the glass window. Hana, duck. Built a hand on my shoulder and gently pressed me downwards. I squatted on the floor and his eyes slid across the glass. What's going on? Shh, 1 second. My knees hurt. Come here quickly and look. I stood up and moved to the corner of Satch. From where we were standing, we could just see into the far side of the library. There, holding a giant stack of books, was Mai. So, what's wrong with that? Watch her. She glanced around herself and then slinked against a bookcase, vanishing from view. A few seconds later, she peered furtively down the library again. Again, she looked around her, and they made a mad dash for the door. She was gone. What was that about? I tried to laugh it off, but it came out more like a wheeze, terribly unconvincing. Satch took off his glasses and polished them again with his white cotton shirt. I did not like where this was going. It would not be pretty. This isn't the first time I've seen her do this. Well, so? You don't know what she was doing. Maybe those were her books. Maybe she was getting them out for a teacher. He stared at me in the eyes. Do you really think that's the case? I trust Mai's my friend. I don't think she would do this. At least, I want to talk to her before I go assuming she's some kind of thief. She deserves better than that. I'm sorry, it was rude of me for to imply we don't have any proof, so no decisions can be made until then. He sighed heavily, rolling his shoulders. Thank you for at least letting me know about this. You're pretty reliable, you know. No, I'm not. I'm really not. I glanced away and heard the door open. Satch was waiting for me to leave. Right, I'll just go.
See you later.
Come by again soon, Hana. He winked, and I blushed, and I skittered out of the library, relief flooding over me. But as I reached the hall, I stopped. Would Mai really put Satch in danger like that, after all he did for us? I really didn't know what to think. I was walking back to the dorm a few days later, enjoying the late spring air, sunlight on my face, when I heard somebody call out my name.
Hana.
There you are! Satch? He reached over and bent over, panting slightly. Were you running to catch me? You walk surprisingly fast. I waited a bit for him to catch his breath, and he glanced around us. Mai isn't with you? That's strange. She's at volleyball practice. She's part of the team, you know?
Well,
That's convenient. She's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I didn't really like the way he said that. Remember how we saw her sneaking through the library the other day? Yeah. Another chunk of books are missing from the library. In other words, she didn't check out those books. Okay. He looked at me expectantly. I don't think I like where you're implying. Can you blame me? What else am I supposed to think?
I don't know.
Better your friend, maybe? You know, she wouldn't do something like this. Do I? People can surprise you, Hana. You shouldn't trust people so easily. He said it so bitterly. It caught me off guard. Without anything to say, we stood there in silence. It makes sense, that's all I'm saying. It wouldn't hurt just to ask her, would it? Well, yes, it would. It'd be betraying her trust on one issue that she already was sensitive about. But Satch didn't know that she had kleptomania and thought it'd be simple as a stick of cotton candy. I'll see what I can do.
right on.
Thanks, Hannah. But I've got to go work now. See you later. Yeah, bye. I watched as he hustled off in the direction of the library, feeling nauseous. I really didn't want to think that Mai was the one who was stealing everything, not after she so sincerely told me she hadn't taken the boots. Did I really have to confront her? Well, I did share a room with her. It wouldn't be hard to do a little bit of snooping, now would it? That night, I rose from my bed like a vampire. With my snore ambient noise, I crept to her desk. Ignoring the guilt in my stomach, I used my cell phone as a flashlight. I didn't see any incriminating, no library books, just some regular school books. I pulled open her drawers, not daring to do any more than just stare at whatever was on top of the pile. Mine was incredibly messy, tons of random stuff thrown left and right. But there was no room for books in any of her drawers. As far as I could tell, she got off scot-free. But that didn't make any sense. I saw big mice taking out the books in the library, so shouldn't they at least be somewhere? Where else would she put them? I sighed and put on some slippers. Time for another secret outing. I made it to the classroom without incident, heading over to Mai's desk and sliding my hands through it. Money? $50! I'll just put that back where I found it. These $50 just sitting in their desk. These rich kids, I swear. Regardless, there were no books. There was only one last place to look. Mai's locker was directly next to mine, so I stepped into my tiptoes, peeking through the slots. There was her full-length poster, Jared, hairbrush, her volleyball team, jacket dangling from a coat hook, and there, at the bottom of her locker, was a pile of books. My heart sped up, and I tried angling my phone's flashing light to get a better look to see if I could read the titles, but no matter I tried to lit, it wouldn't reach. I put myself in my back pocket and sped out of this poppy hall. I emerged in the night with the wind chilled against my skin, but despite that, I felt hot, alert, awake. I didn't want to go back to the dorms, not after what I found, so instead I turned back and headed for the field. It was a long walk, especially in the dark. Halfway there, I found myself regretting such a stupid decision, especially with the trees and shrubs shrouding the trails, making me feel like someone was watching me. But I let my adrenaline lead me, and now, in no time I was in the field. The field at night was peaceful, almost a spiritual place. As I walked to the great oak tree, I felt like there was others there with me, watching over me. Maybe fairies, or elves, or... Satch?
Huh.
I knew it. I glanced around me nervously, unsure where to go or what to do. I couldn't sleep? Apparently not. You've been having a hard time sleeping for a while, haven't you? And do you usually break your fear of going sneak around the grounds when you can't sleep? I didn't know what to do. Satch seemed angry, and I didn't like being out there, alone in an empty field at night, with an angry Satch. Anger always scared me, even more so after my old school. I hated being angry. I hated seeing people angry. I didn't know what to do. Hana? Satch sighed. You know, we're partners now, so you don't have to do this all by yourself. Can't you at least tell me what you're going to do, something like this? I don't want you to put yourself in danger. I'll go with you, so don't go alone. I'll protect you. Are you worried about me? I grinned at him. He started rubbing his temples. I swear, you're going to be the death of me.
Seriously?
You were! Look! Without thinking, I hugged him. Arms. Satch's arms fell limply to his sides. Thank you, Satch. After a few seconds, his arms wrapped around me, too. I just don't want you to get hurt. I also don't want you to suffer because of me. I buried my head into his chest, chuckling. Silly, that's exactly what I was thinking about you. After all this, with the boots and now the books, Satch laughed and I felt his shake with each exhale. Of course we would. We stood like that for a while, and after some time, Satch nudged me slightly. Hana, look. I stepped away from him and gasped. Fireflies! Fireflies lit the air around us, floating through the tree limbs and dotting the night sky as if they were stars. They're beautiful! Satch nodded, pulling me closer towards him. Satch walked me back to Primrose House, guarding me like a knight. I thought about telling him about the books, but I decided not to. I had no proof. There was no reason making me more suspicious of mine. They were just books. They could be anything. Good night, Satch. Good night, Hana. Fucking throat. I'm handing back the results of last week's test. Most of you did very well. A few, rather unexpectedly, slid severely down the ladder. I hope that you're all taking your studies seriously, because if you aren't, we aren't going to get the end of the year class trip to Asagao. How am I supposed to find a boyfriend if that happens? She handed papers back through the class, huffing disdainfully as she passed PPG. Hana, I really hope this is a one-time incident. She handed me back my exam, a 64%. I stared at the circled red number and my mind blanked with shock. How is that possible? Damn, Hana, not doing so good out there, are you? I've never gotten lower than a B in my life! You're shaking? Whoa, calm down there, girl. It was a one exam. Ain't nothing you need to worry about. We'll get some ice cream later on. Everything will be fine. I'm dumb. You've been paying attention. You haven't been paying attention in class. How do you expect to pass the test when you don't even know what's going on? You're not like Kazuku. You can't immediately soak in knowledge while you're sleeping. That's not fair. She gets dictionary literally uploaded to her database while she's powered off. What? No, I just like to read them before falling asleep, like any other normal human or carbon-based life form. Anyways, let's get to lunch. I'll treat you some ice cream, and things will totally get better after this. Come on! Ma and I arrived at the lunch table, me nursing a second scoop of vanilla ice cream. Just as we were settled in, Gerard stood and held up his test for the rest of the table to see.
Aw, yeah.
I did not fail you, boys. And ladies.
Boom, baby.
Another flat 100, solid and sealed. What is that? 70 tests in a row? Don't you ever get tired? Does passion ever die? Will flames ever cease to burn if they ever fuel? So long as I'm trapped within the confines of the schooling, there are tests to finish, and I will complete them. A smiling and polite applause met with his speech. Well, it wasn't like it was particularly hard tests this time around. It's good that Asagao basically only puts effort into midterms and finals. Way easier to coast. Although, if I become president, I will solemnly vow to change that. Why would you do that? Did you get another terrible score, PBG? No? Yes. There's no helping you.
Well...
I've offered to tutor you before, you know, but you never accepted. I have way better things to do than school. It'll hardly matter once I graduate anyways. Education is important. You should strive to learn when you're in school, or not. I will learn. I'll just practice skills I can apply to future career, like video editing or voice acting. What kind of career are you planning to have? Professional soccer player? Hana, you got a 60-something, didn't you? I guess even the good ones fail at some point. My! I flushed around and looked at my hands. A whole 60? You did better than me! That's hardly a relief. Is that because you fall asleep in class? I felt Satch's gaze up hot in my face, and I avoided eye contact at all costs. Still, his disapproval lay over me like a sauce of spaghetti. Both are welcome to ask for my help if you need it. Yes, Satch.
Yeah.
We'd love for you to tutor us if you could. Yeah, tonight even. We'll love learning.
Right on.
That works out perfectly for me. Tonight at 7, I'll see you in my room. Right on time, sir. Angry Satch was scary. I showed up at Satch's room at 7 o'clock, right on time. PPG was nowhere in sight. I knocked lightly on the door. It swung home immediately.
Hana.
Good to see you. Please come in. I'm sorry to say that PPG won't be joining us. He had other commitments. Jared's out too, so not sure what he's up to though. Maybe practicing for his fashion show? Oh. I shuffled into his room, taking off my shoes by the door. I guess that's just us then. Yeah, I guess so. What was this tension? Anyways, we've got lots to cover, so let's get started. He pulled out Jared's desk chair and sat it next to his own, patting the seat. After you. Thank you. I sat on the chair and pulled out my notebooks and pencils. Once arranged nicely and ready to take notes, I turned attentively to Satch. He cleared his throat. What was the war fought for independence of America called? We were starting already? I didn't know anything about American history. The American Revolutionary War? Standard answer. Good job. In a MMORPG, what is the role of DPS? Oh, it's damage per second. I heard the phrase using class moves never explained to me. A textbook answer. Good job. Okay, last question. If someone asked whether you are Russian Sam and your response should be... Was that Korean? I'm no prostitute. Yes! That was... You're Russian? Sounds like you used some relaxation. Questioning went on like this for a while. His questions were hard, but they seemed to be about foundational things I was never taught in my public school, but I already expected to know here at Asagao. Explain why Ms. Shiz's lecture was sometimes hard to follow. I needed foundational knowledge. By the end of things, even though I was tired, core concepts were starting to line up in my mind. Okay, let's take a break. A break, thank goodness, my head hurts. I rub my temples, trying not to let my stress creep up on me. If you're ready, it's time to get an actual lesson. Actual lesson? What was that? Just a warm-up? Yep. I gasped at him. He bent over and picked something up from a compartment near his desk. There's a little red baggie unwrapped to reveal a strawberry cheesecake possible? Now, if you get these right, you get to have a snack. He's training Hana like a dog. I love those. You can have it if you get these right. It's so cute. We studied for a while, Satch quizzing me on various subjects, but... Explain to me the fall of Tokyo in 3 sentences or less. That was something he hadn't even taught us yet. I only have one answer. Well, no, that's not quite. Okay, what's the third law of thermodynamics? What was famous short story that presented in? What the hell? Ugh. Satch chuckled. Entropy? No. No. Okay, what is the chemical composition of a granite? Satch, these questions are way harder than anything we've ever learned. Of course they are. You don't study above your level. If you don't study above your level, how do you ever get easier for you? That's not fair! Satch laughed and only made it angrier. What? Stop laughing, you're really frustrated. No, that's what I'm laughing at. It's really cute. He handed the popsicle to me.
Right on.
Here, you've been working hard, so you deserve it. You gave this to me because I was cute, didn't you?
What?
What? No, no, you definitely deserve it for your hard work. You're a terrible liar. I try not to. He bent over to the desk compartment, pulled out another frozen treat. A vanilla coach covered in chocolate and nuts. I'll eat it with you. He got out his desk and stretched, and I did the same. Instead, we moved to the couch while I collapsed with a small sigh. So, Satch, how's your VR machine going? Oh, that? It's going okay. I wish I had more time to work on it. I feel like I'm close to some kind of major breakthrough with that, but with things, I've been way distracted. Things? Did you mean me and Mai? Searching the grounds, the books, how hard his job has gotten, helping me study? As I went over the possible causes, I realized how much Satch had to deal with because of me. And how much he was helping me. I thought he was supposed to be helping him. Hey, don't make that face, it's not your fault. So, why are you making it? Is it your dream? Well, I guess because I was curious. I had some ideas I wanted to try out. It's related to my dream. I want to be able to make a living being a creative. I'd like to explore how creativity works, the construct and ideas and mechanics, and how they all work together with the human brain to create something new. Oh.
Yeah.
But for right now, yes, finishing the machine is my dream. What is yours then? I bit my lip. It was just something I'd like to talk about for some reason. I wanted to tell Satch. Maybe because I felt he was sincerely interested or because he wouldn't judge me. I could trust him, definitely. I was bullied a lot at my old school and by my former best friend and now my friends. And they would do horrible things and eventually did something so bad it crossed the line. I put my head... Demon Max, Demo Max, where were you from? Because it could be just where you are at. I put my hand through my hair, somewhat self-conscious, and then figured the bow to my figure had given me. I left home to cut his Asagao rather than go to Madrid again. My dad is working himself to the bone just to let me be here, because my mom is no longer with us. For a long time, my dream was just have friends. That sounded so sad, pathetic almost.
Hey.
You know, that dream has already come true. You have friends. I gave him a look. I'm serious, look around you. The Normal Boots Club, even if they've been mixed up, are your friends. And even if you can't count on them, you got me and mine now. We're your friends. We've got your back. Looks like you already have found something else to dream about now. I stared at him, and suddenly...
Oh.
Why are you crying? Did I say something wrong? No. I'm just... You're right, and... I'm happy. A slow smile spread across Satch's face, and he put her arm around me. I leaned my head into his shoulder and cried. Just cried. You guys are my friends. How did I get so lucky? It's because of who you are and as a person. Hana, it wasn't by random chance. That's not how people work. If you think about something special, you must be too. Wah! Satch patted the top of my head. There, Hana, you're okay. You're alright now. Of the John thing. What do you do? Why are you crying? Please stop. That's my favorite. I'll never get over the PBGN. I still squeal about it. He's correct. I returned to my room that evening, awash with happy peacefulness I hadn't felt in years. For the first time, I felt like I belonged somewhere with people I could trust. For the first time, I had a sense of freedom. From here, I could be anything I wanted to be. I just discovered my dream. How'd you do that? I pushed open the door, expecting to find Mai, waiting to pour questions down my throat, but surprise, the room was empty. A book sat open on her desk, some pencils next to it. She must have gone to the bathroom or something. I glanced over the book on her desk, unable to hide my curiosity about what she was doing. My heart stopped. This book. I lifted one of the covers to peer at the spine. History of Seduction. This was one of the books that went missing at the library. What was I doing with it? That didn't make any sense. Someone must have brought it over and left it there. There was no way Mai would have...
Hana!
Hana, you're back! I jumped nearly a foot in the air, suddenly eye to eye with Mai. And I crossed my backpack and opened it, packing my notes away if nothing happened.
Hey, what's up?
You okay? I nodded, my face on fire. I nodded with my face on fire. Don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact. Hot damn, did you and Satch make out or something? Why, of course not. We studied well. It takes about a, it'll be on, like, it does not take long for it to upload it to YouTube, but it takes like a day for the quality to be good.
Really?
Is that all? She gave me the stink eye and began to alphabetically my note. My notes. Oh man. What's the point of living through if you're not going to give me all the juicy details? Sorry to disappoint you, but I can't give you the details that don't exist. She crossed her arms grumpily. If you say so. As she turned away, her eyes crossed and fell upon the book on her desk. She started to smoothly cross over to it, close it, and put it in her dress drawer. Well, if you're not going to give me the reveal your secrets, I'm going to bed. She sniffed, half-heartedly. I should get ready too. I'll shower first. Oh man. I quickly grabbed my shower things and towel and put on some flip-flops and was out the door. Only then was I able to breathe normally. Should I hurry or Mai will get more suspicious? It didn't take long for that night for Mai to fall asleep. Her snores filled the air. I quietly tipped over to bed and headed to her desk. She was asleep on the top bunk, facing outwards. If I made any noise, she'd definitely wake up and see me going through her stuff. Dude, you can go to sleep. It's gonna be, like, after stream, it's immediately uploaded to Twitch. Like, don't worry about it, man. YouTube takes longer, but you can watch it on Twitch later. No problems. But then, did she really deserve to keep her privacy if she was stealing books and putting Satch in danger? I hovered over the desk and suddenly I couldn't remember which drawer she put it in. The obvious choice was the locked drawer, but she kept it locked. When I tried to open it, she'd probably hear it. Where should I look? Maybe just poke through her backpack? I went to the side of the desk and unzipped her backpack. It was possible that after I left to go shower, she shoved the book in there, fully intending to take it back to the library the next day. If that was true, then there was nothing to worry about. Mai was definitely still a trustworthy person. I shuffled through the papers in a backpack. Even in the dim moonlight, I could make out clippings of Jared modeling various styles swimsuits. If I thought he was pretty in real life, these were almost unbearable. In the back of her pack was a thick pile of papers bound by hardcover. I pulled it out and examined it. It wasn't the book I was looking for. Or a library book, for that matter. In fact, it looked like a handmade book? Was Mai writing something? Mai gave a loud snore and I jumped, nearly dropping what I was holding. Heart pounding, I quickly returned it to its proper place and set things back to what I thought they were before. I started messing around and slowly crawled into bed. It didn't matter what she didn't actually had woken up, or at least as far as I could tell. My heart pounded as though she came after me with a knife. It took me forever to fall asleep. The guilt I felt for snooping around Mai's things made a terrible bedfellow. That morning, I got up nearly an hour before I usually did. I hardly got any sleep that night, so there's no point lying in bed and staring at the ceiling. That was what I told myself as I quickly dressed and grabbed my bag and ran outside. I told myself, but I knew deep down that was a lie. I didn't want to talk to Mai. I didn't even want to look at her. I didn't know that... not giving something away. I didn't know it was worse. That I broke her trust, or that now that I know she was probably guilty. A stack of books in her locker and one in her desk. What other conclusion was I supposed to come to? How curious did she do this after Satch, after all he did for us? I walked around campus, kicking the early morning dew out of the grass. More importantly, what was I doing to do about it? Should I tell Satch? Should I talk to Mai? Was this any of my business anymore? Mai had come home, an illness. I didn't know what it really meant, or what she was really struggling with. I could easily just decide that she was a bad person, that she cared more about herself than the fact that she was hurting Satch. But Mai had shown me over the past 2 months who she really was as a person. I knew better to assume that she was doing this out of spite. I should give her the benefit of the doubt. At the very least, she deserved that from me.
Good morning.
Hana!
What's going on?
What are you doing here so early? I need to go buy something little Smelly! I sprinted in opposite direction, paying no heed where I was going.
Hana.
Hana, wait! Satch's voice filled the distance as I ran, and ran, and ran. By the time I stopped, I reached the field. I collapsed to the ground. I hate exercise. I glanced up at the sky, and the sun was peeking out of the top of the trees in the distance. There was no way I was getting class on time after all that running all the way here. Sighing, I made my way back to the school. There goes Hana Misunu, smooth operator. And that's why Miss Shiz paused as I begged Wrangle stepped in the classroom. I hesitated in the doorway, waiting to be interrogated, but to my surprise, she gave me a kind of sad smile and nodded my seat. I quietly sat, marveling at ease, which I escaped at a burning act at the stake. Something was definitely up with Miss Shiz. But what? Thankfully, considering the class was already in session, I only narrowly avoided trouble. Mai didn't question me about my whereabouts. I was able to finish class without locking eyes with her a single time. At lunch, I headed straight to the library and began pulling out books. I wanted facts, straight up facts, what kleptopoma was and how it affected people. The internet access was severely restricted at Asagao, as if we all had parents who thought the internet was full of pedophiles, catfishes, and porn, so only books were meant for figuring things out. As I shifted through the thick books on the table, a sick feeling hit my stomach. Impulse control disorder, often accompanied with depression or obsessive-compulsive disorder, a way of managing emotional stress or anxiety. Sufferers often do not wish to steal and will steal the same types of items repeatedly. Often items of very little value to the owner, such as pen, paper clips, erasers. Sufferers should learn their triggers and how to avoid stress and anxiety that provokes these impulses. Feel intense guilt and shame and are often unable to tell friends or family. Can have large period of regression without death. May give away stolen items to charity, friends, or even family, or even return the items to the original place. Don't often use what they steal, and thefts are not driven by necessary but emotionally high. Feel they can get to control their behavior without difficulty maintaining intimate relationships out of fear or shame. It didn't seem to be a disorder with much concrete information on it, as those often didn't tell what the doctors had that they had it. As such, at least in the books I was reading, there was hardly anything about how to approach a loved one suffering from such a disorder. One thing that stood out for me, though, Mai didn't necessarily want to be stealing things. She felt guilty. She felt ashamed. And thinking back when she told me about her kleptomania, she was terrified, absolutely terrified that I would accept her, that I would no longer want to be her friend, that I would vilify her. Yes, Satch was in trouble because of what Mai was doing, but that didn't make Mai a bad person. This was her fault, and she was responsibility, but someone could do bad things and still be a good person. And Mai? Feng Shui, say Feng Shui! You call yourself friends? I can't believe any of you. I thought we were better than this.
You're my best friend.
I just want you to think this through. I don't like seeing people take advantage of my friends. People I care about. Well, it's okay. We're all cowards sometimes. I was not a bad person. I returned to class without having eaten and found a seaweed wrapped rice ball waiting for me. As I sat down and looked where I put it there, Mai grinned at me. Knowing what I did know about her, how was I going to confront her? I didn't want to make her feel bad. But what she doing wasn't right. Could I just go up to her and accuse her, or... Miss Shiz came from the room, practically floating off her feet. Class, sometimes miracles do happen. Sometimes what you find you want in exactly the place that you least expected. At the time, you finally decide to stop looking. Looks are important, but personality is what gives a human life, death, meaning. Learn from my example. Please take 10 minutes to doodle and color in your notebooks. I'll be doing the same. Mai leaned over to me. She's definitely getting laid. Mai? No, she's right! Let her be! I opened my notebook and instead of doodling, I started scrawling different potential combos for Dumbledore's revenge. It was only a week and some change until the tournament next Saturday. I spent so much time worrying about Satch that the books had... that I hardly practiced at all, and now I knew who did it, and it's time to catch up. I spent half the time wondering what to do about Mai and half strategizing. Before I knew it, the bell rang. Miss Shiz stood enclosed by her notebooks, which was covered in red and pink hearts, stick figures holding hands and hugging. Miss Shiz something. Ta-ta, my lovelies. Shiz be getting that jizz. Fucking hell, Basil. Well, it's good that she's happy. Yeah, where were you this morning at lunch? Meeting up with Satch again? No, of course not. We gathered our things and left the room. As we walked, my chest tensed. I was hypothesizing about Shiz's new relationship and wondering whether things would end badly again. Whether she found a toad who finally treated her well. I glanced around us and walked, hoping to avoid...
Hana.
Hey, Hana! I jumped, Satch somewhere behind us. He waved a hand in the air and called out my name. I grabbed Mai's hand and walked faster, skipping out onto the campus. Hannah, aren't you gonna talk to Satch? No. So, something's wrong? I'd rather not talk about it here. Mai grew quiet, and her wrist fell limp in my hand. I led her back to Primrose House into her dorm. She watched me unlock the door and step through on death row. I closed the door behind us and opened my mouth. I know. I don't know why I did it, and I'm sorry. I couldn't help it, and after I knew Satch was in trouble, I couldn't make myself give them back, and I didn't want people to know I was the one who took them. I didn't want to think what she was going to do, and to us, and so I've been sitting here and talking more. The more stress I got, the more I took, and Mai... I pulled her into a hug, running my hand through her hair. I know you didn't mean to do it. It's okay. Please feel like you're not a bad person. You're not. You're my Sasuke. You're my best friend. And I know you're a good person. I'll stick by you no matter what. Mai wrapped her arms around me, sobbing on my shoulders. I thought you hated me. Hate you? How could I ever hate you? You're the most important person here to me, and you always will be. No matter what. But Mai... I know, I need just to tell him. I need to get the books back. Will you go with me? I'm afraid to go alone. Of course I will. She sniffed and gave me a watery smile. Thanks, Hana. Want to clean up before we go? Definitely. I waited for Mai outside the girls' restroom, listening to her pump herself up and wash her face. I said Satch would take it well, as part of me believed that, but part of me was still apprehensive. Maybe it was a bit much to expect Satch to take this in the stride. But he definitely wouldn't let this color of suspicions of us, the boot thieves. Definitely. I'm ready. It wasn't until we got outside the library that Mai showed signs of wavering. She glanced at me and I nodded, nowhere for her to escape. Either she dealt with the problem, or he got mad at her. Or I did. She gritted her teeth and gingerly pushed open the library door. She stepped through and I followed. To our surprise, Satch wasn't standing in front of the desk. Nobody was. Is he off duty? Let's walk around to make sure. Together we walked through the library and our fearful faces drawing eyes from many students hovering over their homework. They chose the library instead of the club room because they believed it was a requirement of quiet, and would usually get them actual strategies down into place. We reached the back corner of the library and passed a student asleep on the chair, dribbling down his chin, and then we found them. The whole Norman booth gathered along the table, talking quietly but furiously. That's still the same strategy you used last year. We'll be prepared for it. Exactly, that's why it's good to use it again, but with the twist. I can't believe you didn't sign up for this trivia this year. I get it, that doesn't make it any easier on us. I like to branch out. It sounded like they were having a tournament strategy meeting. Without me. Mai glanced at me, and I tried not to show it, but I was hurt. Of course they wouldn't want me around. Just because they were treating me like a friend again didn't mean they had to trust me as far as the tournament was concerned. Anyways, Satch is over there. We emerged from the shadows, skittish like kittens, and as soon as Jared saw us approaching, he stopped talking. Mai, can we speak with Satch, please, privately? All eyes in the room landed on Satch. Sure, continue without me, guys. He stood and walked over to the other corner of the library. Satch crossed his arms, waiting.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Mai bowed deeply at her hands at her sides. Although touching a gesture, I noticed they hid her face from the view. I'm the one who took the books from the library. I have kleptophobia and I couldn't control it. When I found out how much you were suffering, I only felt worse. Though Hana, I thought Hana and I would be framed for the boots, and I lost all nerve. I'm sorry. She lifted her head. To my surprise, Satch smiled. It's okay.
What?
That's it? Satch sighed and scratched the back of his neck. Yeah, well, turns out I was fired yesterday, so it doesn't affect me anymore. Satch! No, it's better this way. I wasn't good to work here. It's a terrible environment, so in a way, it's a blessing. Is that all you had to say? I guess so. Mai looked at me in shock.
You good?
Cool. I gotta get back to the meeting then. We followed Satch out of the bookshelf. Then somebody blocked our way. I knew it. The color drained from Mai's face. I knew you could be trusted. Pink-haired girls are all the same. So it comes to no surprise that redhead would be similar.
Shane.
Without another word, he turned on his heel. We rushed back to the normal goods table. By the time we got there... Fault. He needs that money to go to school, so she let him take the fall for it. Mai stood behind me, pressing her face against my shoulder. How could you do that to him? Can we really trust these girls? But Mai would never... Do you really think after all this they wouldn't have taken the boots? That's ridiculous! Why would he have taken the boots? What could we even do with them? They were made of gold. Use your head. But that's not fair! I trailed off, looking around the room. No one seemed to want to make eye contact with me, not even Satch. I knew Mai wouldn't do such a thing. She even told me so, but she had said the same thing even about the books. I felt her trembling behind me and suddenly grew full of doubt. She didn't want to talk about the books because she was afraid of what happened. Why would she ever tell me about she took the boots? And if she wasn't her, then who? She let Satch take the fall for the boots. And it seemed like the case. I could go down with her, or... Look, I'm on my side, no matter what. If it means you all suspect me then that's just what it means. We don't have time for this. I grabbed Mai's hand and pulled her with me, away from the table, away from Satch, away from the Normal Boots Club. When we got out of the library, Mai pulled me into a hug.
Oh, no.
I hugged her back, fighting tears. This was fine. This was definitely fine. All over some silly books. But they were important books. Did you even read them?
Well...
I took them for a reason. There was something I was working on. Working on what? She eyed me up and down. If I tell you, promise you won't abandon me? Is that still something you're asking at this point? Good point. Come on. Mai dug through her drawers in her room and pulled out a shining silver key. With it, she opened a locked door on the bottom of her desk. Pulled out a stack of papers. What is this? This? Eyes shining, she piled the papers into my hands. It's my masterpiece. I read the title, Normal Boots Love, an erotic fiction, friendship, trauma, eggs, comfort, lemon. My eyes widened as I scanned the paper quietly, seeing giant yaoi hands and my reference to London in the 1800s. Just read it, Hannah. Tell me what you think. I never finished reading my fan fiction. The last thing I remember, but quite a ways through the story, was Shane and I started to get over no. Perhaps it was better left unsaid. There's an ongoing joke that Shane and John are fucking each other. And even during that, the actual Shane in real life even hates Shane in this game, but he went John route just to make this joke better. Yes, it was definitely better left unsaid. I expected Mai to at least somewhat return to her normal cheery self. But by the next day, she was guilty and gnawing at her consciences. We sat at respective desks, Mai tapping away with her pencil. I feel awful. I can't believe he lost his job because of us, because of me. Mai, it's not your fault. Those words died on my lips. It was at least partially her fault. She had direct hand in it. I could tell her it wasn't true until the cows came home, but it was true. Partially, but why? But Mai wouldn't let me let that bit of responsibility go.
Well...
Isn't there something we can do? I'm going to confess. I'll take the books to the library and tell her I'm the one who took them. Satch had no idea and none of it was his fault. He needs his job back. Do you think that will work? Won't you get in trouble? Probably, But it's not if I don't deserve it. I took the books after all. That was my doing. She began packing the books in her satchel and then straightened as I stood too. I'm going with you. Thanks, Hana, for everything. When we got to the library, we went straight to the front desk. Mimi was manning it, and looking bored out of her mind. Yes, what could I do? Hey, you're not allowed back here. We went straight past her to the door of the back room. Sorry, but this is important. We got direct business with the librarian. She eyed us warily and then shrugged. Suit yourselves. I wouldn't want to be you. Mai knocked on the door, jaw clenched tighter than a squirt. What? What is it? I need to speak with you. It's urgent. There was a loud series of grumble from beyond the door, and then it opened. I'll give you 5 seconds. Mai hastily slipped out the books from her bag. Do you see these? These are the books that went missing from the libraries. I took them. All right, and? So I'm turning them in. I'm responsible for stealing them, and I should be punished. And then you could give Satch his job back because it wasn't his fault. She held the books out in the library and bowed with tears in her eyes. Under no circumstances. She lifted the books out of Mai's outstretched arms. Mimi! Yes. Mimi sprinting over, a jet terror in her eyes. I have these put away within 5 minutes. Do you understand? Yes, sir. She dashed off.
I can't believe this.
But that's not fair. No. Satch deserved his job back. Regardless of who took books, she looked at Mai, though she was spit on her. Satch did not find them, and that is that. But you the 2 girls have been hanging out with a bunch recently, Perhaps you'd like some detention over a tournament weekend? My jaw dropped. I think I could add helping for Satchel as well. Do not let me see you again. You know what will happen if I do. She slammed the door in our faces. Mai and I walked back in silence. How could there be someone like that in charge of students in school?
What a jerk!
Can you believe her? Maybe it's better if he doesn't have that job. And really, I agree. No one should be put up with that kind of treatment, not even Mimi. But without that job, how is Satch going to pay for school? We weren't allowed to seek work outside of school unless he found another job here on campus. Tomorrow was Saturday, only 1 week until the tournament. The next day, I went straight to Satch's room. I wasn't sure what exactly I was going to do, but I couldn't stop worrying about him, and I wanted to apologize or explain myself or something. I wanted to do something. I couldn't stand sitting thinking about it. I knocked on the door. From inside, I heard a small crash. Just a second! There was a bit more crashing than Satch muttered under his breath, and then the door flew open.
Hana.
Hana, come in, come in! He was trembling with excitement and absolutely beaming, smudges of oil on his cheeks. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, come in. He grabbed my wrist and pulled me into his room, shutting the door tight behind me. I wanted to apologize. Mai and I went to return the books to the library yesterday. We tried to get your job back, but... Satch waved his hand. I don't care about that. Honestly, I thought about it, and losing that job might have been the best possible thing that could happen to me. I wasted so much time there and the treatment I received from the librarian was really getting me down. I didn't realize it until I was away from the constant negativity. I have so much energy now. Look! He gestured dramatically at the VR machine, which was sitting out in the middle of the room. I've made a major breakthrough! He practically was bouncing as I crept towards it. It looked exactly the same to me. Good? Here, put it on. You'll see. He handed me the helmet, and I shoved it on my head. It's comfier than before. Yeah, I realized some people's head might be more sensitive than others, so I found some padding that didn't disrupt the connectors. I'm turning it on, okay? Okay. Satch's dorm room faded away, and the familiar feeling of dizziness came over me. Then I found myself in the familiar white room. This time, instead of objects on the table, however, there were 2 doors. Okay, don't actually move your body. I'm putting my hand on you, so you just make sure that you don't bump into anything. But think about moving across the room. Think about it? I twitched. No, don't move. Think about moving. How do I kept my arms pinned to the sides and glanced around the room. Think about moving? I wanted to move over there. Nothing happened. Okay, I wanted to, my arm goes up. No. A little frustrated sigh. I could see myself moving in mind's eye, but it wasn't... I moved. Or the move Oh, the room around me was moving? The doors were getting closer to me, as if I took a step forward, and then another, and then another. I reached the left door and had thought about reaching out my hand, but just as it seemed to grasp the doorknob, I felt myself back in the dorm room, Satch's arm around my shoulders. I popped off the VR helmet, accused of whether that was a success or a failure. The tournament required a finished project, one without many glitches. Would this really be okay? When I looked at Satch, he was beaming.
Yes.
Isn't it amazing? A total breakthrough. I stared at him and then it hit me. Oh my god, it is! I grabbed his hand and jumped up and down. I'm just moved just by thinking.
Satch.
Satch, do you realize what you've made? He grabbed my arm and stared, jumping too. I do. This is great, isn't it? I don't think I've been able to do it. I think I have a real chance to make my dream come true. I can sell this. Hannah, this could be my source of income. And I'd have all the time in the world to study and create. I really think this can work. He hugged me and instantly released me, a blush on his cheeks. Thanks for helping me and being my guinea pig. The helmet's too small for Jared's hair. His gorgeous flowing locks. That made sense. As long as I can get this working before the tournament, everything else would work itself out. And then I could trust that it'll work as long as I do my part. In that case, I'll get out of your way.
Right on.
Thanks, Hannah. I'll talk to you later. I waved and left him alone in his machine. As soon as I shut the door, I heard the whirring machine kick in. He was back at it. I was glad. It was unfortunate that it happened, but maybe it really was the best possible thing. Sometimes things happen for a reason, right? After having all the good luck come to Asagao to meet Mai and somehow end up the chance to join Moral Boost Club, I firmly believe that. Never have I seen Satch so happy. It made me happy. I felt inspired, too. There was still a week before the tournament, and I hadn't practiced much. It was time to fix that.
Hannah.
Are you awake? Mai whispered into the darkness. I was half asleep, but I responded regardless. Well, I've been thinking about everything that's happened. Did we ever find out who took the boots? My eyes snapped open. No, I guess we didn't. The silence hung in the room after my sentence made it feel warmer. I stuck a leg out from under my covers. It wasn't me for sure. I know, I believe you. But then, who was it? The question rolled around my mind, gathering fragments of other thoughts like a sticky ball. Never mind, you need your rest. The tournament is tomorrow after all.
Good night.
Yeah, good night. I heard her turn away. I shut my eyes and tried to find out the drowsiness I felt moments earlier, but something wasn't sitting well with me. I had a terrible, terrible feeling. But tomorrow could go well, for sure. As much as I wanted to believe that, I couldn't. Slowly, I drifted into an uneasy sleep. The tournament was today. I agreed to meet up with Satch to help him move his machine into the tournament hall, and I was just about to knock on his door when... Clearly, the culprits. I don't want Hannah on this team. I froze. You have no proof, Shane. You can't punish for something they haven't necessarily done. There's proof enough. Mai's a kleptomaniac. You're not making any sense. We'll lose the tournament if Hannah doesn't compete. It'd be better to lose than fraternize with a liar and a thief. Shane! I flinched. I never heard Satch speak in a way. I trust Hannah and Mai. They would never steal the boots. There was a heavy silence and Shane spoke again, much closer to the door. You're biased. The door flew open as Shane emerged, nearly hitting me on the shoulder. I stared at him, stunned, but he could barely glance down at it before continuing down the hall. Satch saw me standing there and came to stand next to me. Did you hear all that? Seeing my face, Satch scratched the back of his neck. Look, Hannah, I don't care what Shane says. He might not trust you, but I do. Everyone else should too.
Really?
Would a bad person go exploring the campus at night to look for the boots? Would a bad person go and beg for my job back? Would a bad person take care of Oscar just because? Would a bad person stick by her friend and keep faith in her even when things look bad? You're not just a good person, you're one of the most thoughtful and selfless people I've ever met. And if Shane or the others don't realize it, that's their problem, stemming from a lack of observation, not from you. And if they knew you just like I did, they'd felt the same way about you. There's the Shane ending, get you. We'll see tomorrow. He stopped, mouth agape. I'm doing the Shane one tomorrow, so that's gonna be interesting. Yes, I will be doing Shane route tomorrow. And then I think I'll leave Jared for last because I want to keep him. No, I'll do Jared and then I'll do Paul. And then the secret rooms. I'll get some combat. Yeah, no problem. Anyways, the tournament is starting soon, so I don't care what Shane thinks. You're still a part of the team. Let's get this thing over there. I wiped my tears from my eyes and nodded. Great! Satch and I carried the heavy machine out of the room, down the steps, and onto the campus. I was thankful for the fresh spring air, taking a brief breath before we hobbled our way across the grounds. It was good that we get there. It was good that we get there early to set up, as my event was one of the first ones. Huffing and puffing, there was little time for conversation as we headed down into town. The arcade at the tournament cell was much smaller than I expected. I felt like I'd find some kind of convention, but instead it was a small local arcade filled with machines, smaller rooms split off, which were probably the individual competitions that would take place during the day. A few people milled about the space, and generally older folk in their 20s and 30s. I glanced at my agenda in my hand and made way to one of the back rooms. When I entered the competition room, I found 2 chairs on an elevated platform, a computer and projector sitting between them, hooked up to separate controllers. Ian sat in one of the chairs, looking bored out of his mind.
Good morning.
Hey.
It's about time you showed up. I was starting to get worried that you died. Aw, that's sweet of you. Can be concerned. Is it? Yeah. I was just about to sit down and play when Jeff emerged out of nowhere and stood in front of me, avoiding my eyes. Is everything okay, Jeff? Yeah, but, you should talk with Caddy after the tournament. Okay. Why? Well, he's mysterious foreign exchange student. Yeah, I knew that. Maybe not the mysterious part, but... So, look, just take my word for it. Okay, if you say so.
Right on.
Good. Thank you. No problem. I was about to say, like, this little part's always the same, and then the Jeff appeared. Maybe it was the Hidden Blocks people after all. A man came out and checked my name and my club affiliation. I said I was a member of the Normalies Club, a small surge of pride making me sit up straight as I said it. There were chairs lined up for people to watch us compete, and to my surprise, the entire room was soon filled. I searched for the crowd to find the Normalies Club. There they were! Everyone but Satch. Where was he? I stared wordly into the crowd, and a blur of movement caught my eye. Jeff was sitting in the chair on the edge of the row, the rest of the Hidden Blocks Club, watching me carefully. I smiled at him, he looked away. Finally, the lights around us dimmed, and the projector started up, showing the main menu of Double Doom's Revenge on my screen. It was time to start. As the MC began his introduction, explained the rules of the game, Ian turned to me, a smirk on his face. Sure you're ready for this?
Yeah.
You bet I am. Ready to go? The man turned to us, Ian and I nodded. Then, 3, 2, 1, start! The game began. I immediately clicked to fill my screen with 2 more lines of blocks, and Ian began working what he had. I scanned the blocks for pink hearts, eliminating them one by one, making combos where I could. I still wasn't advanced enough to plan tons of combos ahead of time, but I could probably make it much more likely for combos to happen through probability. The pinks were all gone, but the green leaves were next. Double Doom started flipping at the top of the screen. Ian must be comboing, which meant I had a few seconds before blocks would fall. I set up combos on the top of the screen and started eliminating the orange blocks below it. And then it happened. A 6 combo jumped out at me on the screen. My eyes crossed as I stared in shock. I just had to move the top of one place. And then as quickly as I saw it, it vanished. The blocks looked normal again. You're dead. Ian's block fell upon my humble kingdom, and I slid the combo into place. 2, 3, 4 combos, 5 combos, 6, 7 combo, 8 combo! Ian's attack converted into blocks and hovered over mine. Several more combos, and I waited for them all to fall. 10 combo legendary! Double Doom started farting out rainbows all over Ian's zone then. Blocks, so many blocks. They didn't come in a chunk, they came in a torrential downpour all over Ian's side, sliding from left to right and back again. Ian blinked, his hands moving frantically over the screen. I wasn't sure he'd seen something like that before. I hadn't. I continued to combo while it was happening, but at this point, there was no need. Ian's screen was filled up. He kept trying to make combos until the very end, but... Game over! That was it. I won. I stared dumbfounded at the screen in front of me. Ian's mouth hung open. The room was silent. Then...
Whoa!
Yeah, Hannah! I knew you could do it! I glanced up to see the room applauding. All of it, even the Hidden Blocks Club. The announcer was gaping at the screen. I've never seen a score that high! Certainly, I was red as tomato. I climbed down off the platform. Not so fast. Ian stepped in front of me, grim as always. I braced myself for his infamous sarcasm. And to my surprise, he laughed.
Hana.
That was a hell of a game, Hana. That's exactly what I wanted from you. He held a hand in the air and looked in confusion. I looked at it in confusion. Don't leave me hanging.
Yeah.
Oh! I high-fived him and clasped my hand against his. Thanks, Hana. That was fun. And then he disappeared in the pressing crowd. I bumped and shoved my way through, searching for Satch in the bundle of people.
Hana.
I turned around and Satch was behind me, grinning from ear to ear. I just came in time to see the end. That was amazing. You managed to use Ian's strategy against him. How did you do that? Oh, you know, practice. That was wonderful. What about your match? It's starting soon. Come on, let's go. I tugged at Satch through the crowded arcade floor, moving through the flood of new arrivals playing at the various machines. Seems like it's good for business. All participants play free, and you get a day pass and play as much as you want. Huh? No wonder. We entered the invention room and paused, completely taken aback. Huge TVs lined the hall, and people stood around various consoles, PCs, and other things I'd never seen before. A group of middle-aged adults with clipboards were walking around the room, inspecting various inventions. Across the way, I saw Jimmy talking to an older lady, presenting something on his 4DS with her sheepish grin. Goodness, they haven't got to mine yet. We also crossed the room to the back of the corner where Satch VR's helmet perched on a chair, ready for people to try. The Satch murmured to himself in a hushed voice, and I moved to the helmet and sat in the chair myself. People were roaming the room, and occasionally one would stop and ask a question or try something someone had worked on. A robot, circular treadmill, or a controller for characters' movement, but mostly they were content to look but not touch. This isn't good. I need someone to demonstrate this machine, or it won't get any notice. He eyed me over the shoulder. I rolled my eyes. Me? Well, I would never ask, but if you would.
Yeah.
Of course I will! I held the helmet in front of me, waiting for him to turn on the TV screen that would project what I was seeing and doing to the entire room. Just in time. A judge was coming this way. An older woman was at the booth next to Arj. Young woman, talking to a young woman about her invention, face recognition software for dating applications. Have a virtual boyfriend that really talks to you. A virtual dating game, huh? That sounded kind of fun and familiar. Her models were definitely uncanny valley, though. Ready? Satch peered down at me. Things will be a little bit different this time. I got a lot more done since you last visit. Just behave naturally, move as you did last time. Okay. I slipped the helmet on my head and gave Satch a thumbs up. The machine was switched on with a familiar whirling sound. I felt the dizziness of my fog in my mind again. Thankfully, by now I was used to it. When I came to, I found myself in a room we all know well, my classroom. At least, I thought it was my classroom. When I looked around, the only people around were the Normal Boots members? I was sitting at a desk in the back of the class. Moving carefully, I slowly got out of the desk and moved across the room. It was weird to see my body moving without feeling it, with the helmet on. It felt like I was really in the classroom, not that I was the first person perspective I saw in typical shooter games. If I could feel my body, I might have mistaken it for real life, which was cool, but also made me nervous. Please don't sell this to the government, Satch. I stood awkwardly in front of the boys, unsure what to do. What did Satch say? Act normally? Hi! Jared turned to me, sparkling in his fluorescent light. Ah, hello there, good person! He flashed a brilliant smile and bowed low. If you'd be so kind to sit in the front of the room, we could begin. Sure. Jared in front of the room was similar to the real Jared, but he seemed like a punched-up version, as if he was on steroids or something. He was somehow more beautiful here than in real life. He moved with a flowing grace, like he made from a liquid. It seemed almost unnatural, like an elf from the Lord of Necklaces. I sat in his chair, and the boys sat in front of the desk in front of me. Now we're going to... Jared stopped mid-sentence, his brow ruffled as if he forgot something. Going to... Had Satch not gotten this far? Should I do something? Make a confession?
Right.
Make a confession, right. In this case, I'll go first. Once I made PBG peanut butter pie. The The world swirled out of view for a moment, and then I was in the dorm kitchen watching PBG and Gerard talk to each other. Wow, you made me pie? All right. Of course, please eat it. You're so generous, Gerard.
You're a great
Nah,
friend.
I just want to thank you for being my friend. I was surprised as I chuckled as PBG dipped a fork in the pie and took a bite. So, how was it? Well, PBG froze and dropped his fork. His hands flew to his throat. PBG, what's wrong? I forgot to tell you. He turned to face me. Both of Gerard gave me giant thumbs up.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to peanut butter! And then they froze. I moved up to them and touched them. Nothing was happening. It seemed like this was the ours Satch got. Just as I was about to panic, a door at the end of the room opened, and I saw a flash of pink. It's Hannah!
Hello.
Oh, hello! Fancy meeting you here! It was me. I was talking to myself. Kind of. This was a version of myself I've never seen before. She was beautiful. Certainly more beautiful than I consider myself to be. She smiled brightly, and the room around us seemed to glow. No, it was actually glowing. My other Hannah's presence made the room glow? I'm happy you came to see me. I was worried about my friends there, so I wanted to check up on them. But I ended up running into a new friend. Don't worry, I've got you. As long as I'm by your side, you don't need to worry. Are you... Something tapped me on the shoulder. I about jumped a foot in the air, I think. My VR sight didn't change, so I was confused until I heard Satch's voice from somewhere above me. You can take off the helmet now, Hannah! I removed the helmet, seeing the real world come into form around me. Suddenly I felt my feet back on the ground. Even though my senses of touch never left me, it somehow felt real when the visuals around me matched up. Satch stood in front of me, a blush across his cheeks.
Right on.
I think things went really well. I knew I could count on you. You thought fast and you saw right through the bugs and glitches and messed up scenarios. Without you, the program might have gotten stuck and the third judge would have just never seen what it was capable of.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hannah. About... Oh, anyways, I have to fill up some forms now, so... He stared backing away as he said it. Of course, right, I'll just... Yeah, great, bye. He turned and dashed away. I watched him go, bewildered. So, was that how Satch saw me? If it was, Hello, tournament competitors! The judge score sheets are now in! We'll tally the scores and announce the winners in a few minutes! Announce? Did Satch really have the forms to fill out? I walked around the room for a bit, looking at different inventions. Some of them were pretty neat, and I didn't bother trying them out. After my event, Satch's VR machine, I felt drained and a little lightheaded. Some 15 minutes passed before I hit the MC again. Hello to tournament competitors, and thank you for your patience. I would like to announce our winners! In third place, Jimmy Sunder with his extremely detailed level design analyzer. Some guys with crazy hairdo walked up in the front of the room and grabbed his medal and bowed. In second place, Tom Garachawak with his robot that can memorize choices from the basis of a personality. An older man received a silver medal, thanking the MC in a Polish accent. And in first place, Satch's Drinks with his revolutionary VR that can control movement with nothing but thought. Versus cheers through the Ontario. Satch jumped up to the front of the podium and accepted his gold medal and thanked the audience and his fled. I ran to his booth to congratulate there, but when I got there, he was completely swarmed by people. From the looks of it, some were reporters or businessmen. I bounced up and down, waving at him until he got a glimpse of me. I gave him a thumbs up and he grinned in return. I wouldn't be talking to him for a while. I left Satch's booth and wandered around the room, wondering what to do with myself. And then I saw Caddy over Jimmy's booth, waiting to speak to him, and then suddenly Jeff Warning came to mind. You should talk to Caddy. Curious, I approached. I shifted nervously as he watched me come, but smiled when I stood in front of him.
Hey!
Hi, Hannah! Fancy meeting you here. Yeah, fancy seeing you here at the tournament where we all are competing. He chuckled and laughed loudly, too loudly. I watched him shift his hand back in his pocket and glance furiously around the room. Caddy, is everything okay? Whoop! Hold on for a second. The mic might sound a little louder now, but let me fix that. There you go. Yeah, everything's fine. I glanced at him in surprise. He chuckled. It was flattering, but I realized that I'd rather someone else said to me, I bit my lip. You seem rather skittish. Yeah, but I'm always like that, aren't I? I'm stopping with the fucking British accent. No, I'm gonna go back to it. It's fun. Finally! Free the people who had been talking to him, Jimmy joined our group. Caddy! Oh, Hana! Wallerin? Wallerin was crossing the room, eventually having come from his event. Jimmy sighed. I guess I never had the chance of beating Satch, did I? I worked so hard on breeding the AI for the newest generation Nokemon games. I thought it really helped save so many Nokemon fans for so much time. It's okay, Jimmy, you did your best. That's definitely something you would do. I guess so, but how did yours go? About that... Waller trotted off, eyes downcast.
Yay!
Yes! I couldn't resist punching the air, joy rolling from my shoulders. That's awfully rude, Hana. Sorry, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. I can't believe you actually said that.
Seriously.
I can't believe you lost. Neither can I. I'm gonna have to be seriously rethink my future career if things are gonna like this. Your future career? As what? As a... actually, never mind. But... Now. Caddy threw his arms around Jimmy and Wallace's necks. If our events are all over, it's time to have some fun, eh? Come on, let's go to the tournament players. Let's go. Tournament get free plays all day. Tournament players get free games all day, and I'm not about to let that opportunity go to waste. You too, Hana. I nodded. For now, the tournament results were unknown, and Satch was being interviewed for his Partigan shifting invention. There was nothing I could do but play. We played our hearts out into the end of the tournament, roaming from our pinball machines to scooters and rhythm games. To shooters, sorry. People left one by one for their events, returning with good and bad news, but never did outside force get the title. Speak English. I can't speak English so good. But by the end of the day, we were exhausted and sweaty, and air inside our tiny arcade was muggy and humid. The MC from the tournament finally tallied the scores and stood on the stage, microphone in hand. The winner of the 2015 South-Southwest tournament is the Normal Boots Club! I screamed and clapped. We swarmed the stage. The poor MC didn't know what hit him. As we celebrated on stage, Paul grabbed the microphone.
All right.
We'd like to thank our friends and fans for always supporting us, and there's something else we'd like to do. He grabbed the hand and tugged me in front of the stage. I looked at Satch in bewilderment, and he gave me the thumbs up. We treated our friend Hannah terribly this past year, and would like to formally apologize to her and her friend Maya. He bowed to me, as did the rest of the Normal Boots Club. I waved my hand aimlessly, trying to get this to stop happening. We would like to recognize that Hannah is now and always will be a member of the Normal Boots Club. I clapped my hands over my mouth in sheer surprise. And now she's what I'm at, she's official! But what about the boots? You know, they're very important symbol act gesture and all, but they're just gold-plated boots. We could get new ones. Alright, rich kids. Paul gestured off stage and turned to see a red-faced Shane with Normal Boots jacket in hand. I'm sorry that I've been so distrustful, Hana. Welcome to the club. He lifted the jacket over my shoulder and patted me gently on the back. Tears filled my eyes and I pulled him into a hug. I hope we can be friends now. We can if you stop hugging me. What a bitch. Who's the new route that I'll choose? It's Shane that's next. I released him and I fled back within the crowd. As other members trickled off stage, I searched for Satch and found him beaming at me within the haze of reporters and curious inventors. My heart started to racing, and suddenly a memory flashed into my mind. What's your dream, and what will you do after that one's accomplished? My dream. I've achieved it. New friends, the Normal Boots Club, winning the tournament. I have everything I wanted. So, now what? What do I do now? I returned to my room, calm in my heart. I couldn't believe that we won the tournament. I won the tournament! I was a part of the Normal Boots Club! I pulled out my keys and braced myself for the inevitable. Who knew what waited me on the other side of that door? Hana! I pounced at me, emitting a high-pitched wail. I couldn't go! Tell me what happened! Did you win? Of all days, Maya had her biggest volleyball game of the year. It had to fall on the same day of the tournament. She was bouncing up and down, jostling me with every jump. Maya, hang on! Get off me! She stepped away and I gasped for air. Sorry. She stared at me in shock. What? What happened? Maya had trembling finger in my chest and looked down. Yeah. You got a normal boots jacket! You won the tournament! You joined normal boots! And the entirety of the door probably heard her. No, the entirety of Japan. She grabbed my hands and spun me in a small circle through our room. I stumbled over the malicious piles of books and Maya's backpack and some papers. You did it! You did it! Stop it, please! Stop! I'm gonna be sick. The sound of a knock at the door both made us freeze in our tracks.
What?
What's that? Who's there? You don't think they want the jacket back, do you? Of course not! They wouldn't do that, would they? Knock came again. Go open the door. I gulped and approached the door as one would arrange a dog. Then I squinted shut and I pulled open. Hana? Ian?
Hey.
Is Mai there too? Mai poked her head around the corner. Oh, good. Do you mind coming with me? Both of you. Is something wrong? Not particularly. Ian doesn't seem like he wanted to explain any further, so Mai and I followed it out to campus. Go. Congratulations on winning the tournament. Thank you. Man, come next year. I'm totally kicking your ass. We'll see about that. Mai watched us, stars glistening in her eyes. I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven. He led us to Poppy Hall as we stepped through the corridors. I had an inkling about where he was taking us. And he stopped in front of the Hidden Blocks Club room, and I realized I was correct. When he opened the door and moved to go first, that apparently thought it better first to gesture. And gestured us to go first. Inside, I found a smiling Satch in the Normal Boots Club, who all looked like somewhat sheepish. Scotty stood to one side, blood red. Ian came in behind us and shut the door. Caddy took the boots. What? I glanced at Caddy, who messed with his hands and stared at the floor. Maya was shifting through a mixture of emotions beside me. It was probably better that he couldn't look at her. It was supposed to be a stupid prank, but then he dropped them and broke them, so I took them to get fixed, and while they're getting repaired, you two came under fire. Everyone took it way harder than I thought it would, considering they were just a pair of boots, so by the time they were fixed, I couldn't bear the thought of returning them. I procrastinated, you all started fighting, and then you weren't talking to each other, and it made it harder and harder to return them, and I kept thinking about how mad everybody would be, how you two suffered. I hid them in my closet and ignored them. Eventually, Jeff came across them, and, well, I looked at Jeff, who gave me an awkward thumbs up. I'm really sorry, please forgive me! Cody got down on his hands and knees and laid on the floor. Please, walk on my head! Please get up.
Hell!
Oh no, you're not getting off the hook that easily. I strode over to Caddy and grabbed his ear. Ah! You're coming with me. I dragged him off to the ground and pulled him out of the room. Caddy squealed as he went, ah! Their screams echoed down the hallway until they dissolved into silence. That's what he gets. Well, that's good.
Right on.
Hannah, I can take the books back to our club room. Our? You mean...
All right.
Oh, whoa, she's got a jacket. It's true. I grinned and showed off my club hat. This is the newest addition to the Normal Boots Club. You got it.
Oh, yeah.
Well done, Hannah. No, it wasn't big a deal. Anyways, we should get going. Satch grabbed one side of the boots, and looked at me.
Yeah.
Right. I grabbed the other end of the boots, which were surprisingly cold. Together and I lifted the sucker and shuffled towards the door.
Hey!
Satch, I'm gonna beat you next year, got ya? Yeah, we'll see about that. Also, Steven Galaxy is on later tonight, so
Yes!
I'll be there. Thus, we were on our awkward shuffling way. For some reason, the walk to the club room was awkward. The sun faded and the night was falling around us. Although we technically weren't supposed to be... What does Dad want? Hold on. What do you want, Dad? Oh. I'll be in a minute. Let me finish up my stream because I'm just ending it now. Ya dingus! You forgot your key! It's 10. I'll be right back, guys, because Dad's being a dingus. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Let Harold pet Molly for them, okay? Alright, bye-bye. Oh my god, Dad! You piece of shit. Although we were not supposed to be out. I was focusing on not moving too quickly, trying not to complain about the cramping pain in my fingers. It helped me avoid Satch's eyes. Was it really always this tense around him? What changed? Not sure how to handle... Suddenly, Satch broke the silence. And talking to himself, me, in a series of quiet mumbles. Whoops.
Satch.
He jolted, woken from a dream, nearly dropping the boots, and I scrambled to accommodate the sudden shift in weight as he gathered himself. Dingus Dad? A Dingus Dad emote. Just remind me that whenever I get emotes, okay? Sorry. No big deal. What were you whispering about?
Well...
Why was he hesitating? Even with the worst of the news, Satch usually delivered it effortlessly. My VR machine. People have sent me offers. Some people want to buy it. Some people want to fund me as I develop it. Regardless, I'm gonna be fine. I'll be able to stay as Garo.
Yay!
That's great! Have you found a new dream? Oh. A sudden question took it off guard. I flushed. So you remember that too? Popsicle break? Yes. I was thinking about it earlier. In the past few months, I learned so many things. About friendship, trust, honesty, loyalty, and choice. Even, maybe, love? I felt flushed, and I cleared my throat. Not yet, but I'm sure I will. What about you? We finally reached the hallway of the Normal Boost Club room, was it? And edged along towards the door. Perhaps... Satch refused to elaborate thoroughly, and I, seeing the door, was content on focus bringing these blasted boots to the rightful place. Satch opened the door, and with a deftly maneuvered foot, we finally brought the boots back to the rightful place, the closet in the back of the room. We released them onto the cushion, and I immediately started rubbing my blood back into my hands. My fingers. That thing is ridiculously heavy for a pair of boots. Satch held the ring of keys out to me. Care to do the honors? I laughed, taking the keys. I turned to the boots. You were more trouble than you were worth, but I guess I'll get to know you better from now on. All hail the boots. I blew a kiss at them and then shut the door. I held up the keys to the heavens. Made these boots stay forever in their rightful place. With that, I locked the closet door and cheerfully to Satch. He was staring at me, eyes shining brightly.
Satch.
Hana.
This might come as a surprise to you. I didn't want to bring it up, not while you were going through so much. But I think I've fallen for you. You're so kind, so hardworking, so... He shook his head at a loss. I was hoping... No, all I wanted to tell you was I admire you, you inspire me. The whole time I was working on the VR machine, I was thinking of you. How'd you react when you experience it, what impression you would be. That's why I was able to work so hard, even after I lost my job. When I watched you using it during the tournament, to be honest, that felt better than anything that came after it, even winging. What if I could wear the boots and kick Shane in the shin?
Thank you.
Thank you. Satch. You, who's been there for me throughout this whole ordeal, who tried to get me to the bottom of the boots issue because it was the right thing to do, who stood by me even when the evidence pointed to the contrary. Oh no, the police is after me, I gotta hurry up and finish the stream. And here, I thought my feelings were one-sided.
What?
Oh, snap, son! I laughed and moved him and gave him a big hug. Satch embraced me in turn, beaming. But when...
don't know.
I don't know, it happened somewhere along the way. There wasn't a moment where there were no fireworks. But as time went on, I realized I wanted you by my side no matter what. I couldn't stand the idea for whatever reason that you might not be. I kissed him on the cheek. Satch. I let you smack him with a shoulder. We ended up sitting there the whole night on the floor of the Normal Blues Club, just talking. Together reflecting how much we learned from each other. Satch had to rely on others and trust people, and me had to believe in my power to change situations, to trust my friends, and to be honest, we were so excited and so happy, we hardly noticed the time slipping away until it was already dawn. We said our quietest goodbyes in front of the primrose, and I slipped my way to sleep. It was a club meeting the next day, after all, and I would see him soon. By the time I got to the clubroom, everyone else was already seated and waiting. I made eye contact with Satch, a huge grin spread across his face, and I flushed. Better not to look at him, it'd be a dead getaway. Satch, what's wrong with you? Yeah, you're grinning like a maniac. Is it about your machine? Nope. What, you're not gonna tell us?
No.
That's not fair!
Okay.
I'll tell you when you guess. Okay, you got a puppy. I wish. You found out you're distantly related to Shakespeare. No, but good guess. You're performing a live in concert because you've already created a boy band with Gerard and the other two kids from Asagao. Ha! A boy band? Like that would ever happen. I mean, it wasn't a bad idea.
Hey.
Hana, do you have any idea? What, me? Maybe you got an engineering scholarship? I'll keep telling you and you'll never guess. Oh, it's just a matter of time. No, I'm glad we get this meeting started. There's another tournament coming up soon, and we got a new memory to go. Oh yeah, we gotta do an initiation ritual. Paul crackled, rubbing his hands together like a grasshopper. Wonderful, wonderful. Huh? Don't worry about it, Hana. It won't hurt a bit. And so began the rest of my time in Asagao. Best end. I want to see that band. Shane could be the sassy man. Alright, that was Satch's route. That was actually pretty different from the other routes. It wasn't very much love and stuff. It was more about who fucking stole the boots and whatnot. After Wallet name was clear, I was like, okay, it's definitely not the Hidden Blues Club, but who could be? Like, honestly, who could it be? Who could it be? I knew Mike didn't do it at all. Mai wouldn't do it at all. I always trusted her. Ugh. My arm hurts. I'm gonna stop streaming after this, but tomorrow I'll do Shane's route. Dun 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 dun! Oh, here's the people who did the music, by the way. Now it's gone. Oh, now it's back. Knocking sounds, haha. Squeaking of the hideous boots. How could they squeak? They're gold! It sounded like this. Like metal. Oh, you know. Heavy! Iron boots! Ching, ching, ching. Fucking Legend of Zelda, that shit. Gold is heavier than iron. Alright, let's see the ending scene. Louder! I want to hear you scream into the heavens! I emerged from the dorm next morning, ready to head to class, and stopped in front of a spectacle that never in my life I would expect to see. Ah! I'm a bad Cappy. Fucking Cappy. I still freaks and let my friends get in trouble for it.
Hell!
Louder! I'm a bad Kappa! What are you doing? You didn't think I was just gonna let him get away with this, did you?
What a jerk!
He gave us weeks of suffering. Everyone worked out okay. You can cut him some slack. I'll cut him some slack when he's dead. Again! I'm a bad Kappa! I walked away slowly as the other students gathered around the commotion and bumped into somebody. Oh, pardon me. I froze. Miss Shiz and Miss Satchmo, arm around her waist. Oh! They're the ones fucking each other. It's like actually, that was actually a Kappa, not a fucking Ninja Turtle outfit. She was absolutely bursting with joy, holding her hands in front of her as if her nails were dry. Oh, Hana, I'm glad you're here. I've been going around announcing it to everybody. I want you to include my favorite student. Favorite student? Me and Charles have decided to get married. She screamed those last words to the heavens as it seemed to link to another planet. I heard it bounce off of Mars and ricochet towards Saturn. When? I glanced at Mr. Satamo and he winked at me. All I remember running him in the dead of night and how he walked past my door without saying a word against me being out. Was it because he was sneaking out to see Miss Shiz? Oh! I stared at the two. Miss Shiz leaned over to kiss Miss Satomo's cheek. Never have I seen her happier, and Miss Satomo was 10 years younger in her presence. I shook my head.
Seriously?
I wish you the both of great happiness. Thank you, Hana. I'm sure we'll have it. Yes, I agree. Miss Shiz wrapped her hands around Satomo's. My prince has finally come. No, she's not a gold digger. She really is much about love. I waved them past, giving them all the privacy so they so clearly desired. As I headed across campus, a voice called out to me.
Hana.
There you are! How are you doing? I shook my head.
Well...
Satch, life at Asagao Academy never gets easier. No? He slid an arm around my shoulder, grinning mischievously. Okay, maybe some things do? Cappy.
Asagao Academy. Normal Boots Club.
Fucking Cappy. That is so fucking hilarious. Fucking Cappy. Well, we finished Satch's route. Let's go over the pictures again. Like, these are some like amazing artwork that Unicornism did. If you don't realize, the person who did all the artwork for this game is fucking PBG's wife. PBG's wife did all the artwork for this game. It's fucking incredible. That's probably why PBG's route is one of the best. A little bit of bias. See, this that's probably why it's really biased and why she draws her really good. And then a fucking Goldfish scene. These are really good artworks. I love them. Next page. I believe Shane is next. Fucking holding the fucking popsicle. John Root is cute too. I was prepared for your shit, Megan. Of course you were ready for my ease. And then I love the final list. Here's Gerard's route. I still have a lot more things to do. A lot more routes to finish. Well, there's only one way to end this. There's only one way. I fucking love the music in this game. It's really well done. This is a fucking amazing game. Still waiting for that picture. Next up is Shane. Fucking asshole. Alright, everyone. I'll see you later tomorrow with Shane 3.
Asagao Academy, Normal Boots Club.
Fucking Shane.